Do you have something funny that we could put at the top of this video?
We could talk about something pathetic that I didn't write down.
Could be funny. Yeah, let's go.
Well, like, you know how idol culture people are.
Yep.
Did you hear about it?
Is this so? I only heard a little bit. I don't know what actually happened, but is it Russia?
Yeah. So she was streaming GTA with, I think, Miko,
Yeah.
and she got her Discord notifications popped up,
Yeah.
and she got a message
From a boy.
from a man. Well, it's from another streamer. But I can't remember what his name is. But it says he's a singer, but it looks like he's a VTuber as well.
Okay.
That he sends her a message. He makes a reference to how he's being all cutesy and shit. And he's like making a he's pretty much saying, I'm coming over to your place, but he uses terms that like he calls her like a pet name associated with her VTuber, and what she refers to her like home as. Like, you know how they all have like little things when they're talking about their apartments, but they want to sound like fantastical or whatever. So then they like come up with like funny nicknames for stuff. So they saw that he was like saying like, I'm gonna come over sort of shit.
Yeah.
And of course, idol culture is them going like, my favorite idol has a boyfriend, she gets fucked, they have sex, oh my god, she's a whore now and I hate her. Oh my god, it's like I didn't even know who she really was. And it's like, because you don't.
She's a fucking VTuber.
Yeah,
she's a real human person who lives in the world, but she's portraying a character a lot of the time.
VTuber like HoloLive and like
I think the agencies.
Nijisani,
I think Nijisanji is like a lot more chill. Same with I think Voms, but especially HoloLive does have that old school idol culture of like you can't have a boyfriend type deal. But I don't know if that's like actually true, or at least like you can't admit to it as your character.
That's the problem. Is like a lot of girls on that, like the original HoloLive girls, like up to like even Chrono and stuff, or Pekora. They're like, we are idols. And then they're like, no, Pekora, you're a comedian. And she's like, no, I'm an idol.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like a whole weird...
It's putting people in... Japan has like a really special way of like putting people into like their actor categories. Yep. Where it's like, you're a dramatic actor or you do comedies.
Yeah.
Or you're a fucking weird guy who looks like a Yakuza member, so you do both. Because they don't have enough of you.
Beat Takeshi.
But I think... Kuze.
Yeah, him too.
The other guy as well that I can't remember, Awano.
Yeah.
Both of them are like in comedies together, where the joke is that they look tough, but they do artsy shit.
Yeah.
I think the collectively as a group, especially the English girls, I think should start it. Is just say we should keep our personal lives out of it because we are playing characters and all that. But if someone finds out that we have a significant other, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Also, I saw a really good meme. It was like where it's like you when your Oshi has like a relationship with someone of the same gender.
Yeah.
You when you find out your Oshi has a relationship with someone of the opposite gender. It's like, woo! Because you know people are like, oh, fucking Callie and Kiara are like definitely fucking or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like as soon as if Callie showed up and she was like, I got dicked down so hard the other night, they'd be like, Kiara doesn't have a penis.
Yeah, or like
I think it also could be rooted
Okayu and Korone.
Yeah, I think it could also be based in the
based.
It's not very based. The ideal that I'm about to say that this is incredibly homophobic.
Yep.
But in the concept, I'm not being homophobic.
Men don't think of women together as having sex.
A man can slip in and have a threesome with them. Or he can steal one of them away because they're just the real reason why they're together is because they haven't found the right man, and you could be that right man. And like implying that lesbians are only having sex with each other because they just haven't found the right one.
Or like, or it's just like those like, well, if you sleep with a woman, it's not cheating on me.
Yeah.
Right. Like that element. Where it's like it's like not it's biphobic, it's lesbophobic, it's like gross.
There was so many girls in like high school I know as well where like dudes would be like, I would like it if you did not make out with other women, and the girls would be like, why? It's not like I'm making out with another guy.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that's like internalized by shit.
Like, I don't know. It's its own whole thing.
Coronas always feel so small.
That looks huge to me.
It's 330 milliliters.
It's okay. Not
it's
a lot
smaller
of liquid,
than a can of pop.
That bottle looks giant to me. I don't know why.
When it's actually in your hand, as a person who I drink a lot more beer. Obviously, you don't drink beer. I do. There's normally my fingers are.
You know what?
Like
it's skinny, but it's taller than a normal bottle.
Maybe. I think so. I think that is true.
Because it does look like it looks big. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's because I don't drink stuff out of bottles inches. That much.
It's dude inches. I make that joke my sister.
I mean, if your dick was that long hard, that'd be a pretty big dick.
I kind of fucked. I didn't fuck up dinner for my mom's birthday on Thursday.
You botched it.
I just think it was mid. I don't think it was my best work. I think I made it better, but my family has like shitty taste buds, so they were like, "Yeah, it's fine," or "It's just as good as it always is." I'm like, that feels insulting. But so my mom also fucked it up because she buys the ingredients most of the time. Mm-hmm. She went out and she got pizza mozzarella instead of mozzarella. The water content in the cheese of the pizza mozzarella, it's like you need to shred it. And I was making chicken parm where you put like discs on it. So instead of it melting, the cheese kind of just like burnt.
Okay.
But my sister, I was like, yeah, do like I don't know, 1/2-inch slices, which is actually too big for what like normal. But so she gives it to me, and she gives it to me slivers, and I'm like, yeah, that looks about 1/2 inch. Because dude jokes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, if anything bad happens to Russia, those bitches should go on strike.
Yeah.
They should just be like, I'm not streaming for a week until you give her shit back. I
don't think
international with the stuff with Kiryu Coco.
Yeah.
That is like something that they are just like, we are at risk of losing our like partnership with China and like all that other shit.
This is just horse shit.
It's horse shit, but it's like this is horse shit.
Yeah.
The thing with China is like that's a lot more of like a tense situation.
Yeah, like it's still dumb because it was just like she said the word Taiwan.
Yeah. And Gura had Taiwan on her stream like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because it was on like the geography class in Bully.
Yeah. People were making jokes like Gura's retirement in 2022 or something.
Yeah. But no, what ended up happening was they just ended up severing their Chinese branch because of that.
Oh yeah, so there's no risk anymore.
Yeah. Which is cool. But yeah, that sucks. Apparently Russia, I'm just looking into some stuff. Apparently like Russia also like her cat passed away recently, so it's like fucking leave her alone.
She literally she took like a week or two off. I don't think it was her cat, I think it was her grandma. Oh no, Corone's grandma passed away. Yeah, so her like cat died, she took like a week off. She comes back, and then her boyfriend is like, "Hey, I'm on the way over to like,
And to be honest, if she referred to her house like it's Rush's house, like in character, he could literally have just been referring to having a collab.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe I don't know the character because it's not like
it's not someone. It's not a woman.
It's not a woman, and also the male characters just aren't as big. That's just the unfortunate truth of it.
The only male VTuber that I like watch is
Takahata.
Takahata, but also Lord Athelstan. He's funny.
I don't know that guy.
He does a lot of the music and stuff for like Nyanners and Iron Mouse, but he also has his own VTuber thing. He's really funny.
Doesn't Sea Dog?
He doesn't have
one. He just hangs out with them a lot.
Yeah.
He seems like a funny enough guy.
Yeah, he's fine. Ithel's funnier though.
Yeah, he's all I know, his character is like he's using like a pet name for her.
Yeah.
Because the odds are is that they are actually dating.
But
it's like you jumping to a man is speaking to my Oshi. I'm pissed.
And the thing that's funny is like what I see is like it's mostly Japanese fans harassing her. Like on the
I saw
English,
some really cute fan art someone made.
Yeah.
Of like her like Rushia.
Yeah.
And the guy's VTuber of them like getting married.
That's super sweet.
And it was like and it was from a Japanese artist too, so it's like that's a sick turnaround. That's a good
exactly.
Ship your characters, but don't be abusive to them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, it's just gross. But most of what I saw on the Hololive subreddit, which is mostly English fans, like American fans, is people being like, "Hey, don't do this," not like, "Hey, just fuck this." Right. So like, it's clearly either A, minority of fans that are harassing her, or B, a majority Japanese fans doing it. But even still, like, don't fucking harass people.
There used to be, I swear,
the crime of being a fucking girl in her 20s that has a boyfriend. Like,
this used to be like a thing that happened to female streamers as well. Like, it's still when people found out that, like, people always talk about like Pokemon's relationships and all that. And then,
right, where she's like she's a pretty private person about that stuff.
Well, especially since like the last time
and people freaked right the fuck out, which is so weird.
And then gross. Like pretty much it's either your identity as a female streamer is you are a woman who does not talk about it, or you are in a committed relationship. And they kind of want you to you like the safest thing for them to do is to act like they're in a relationship so that dudes on the internet don't come for them.
Yeah.
Or unless when they actually reveal that they are in a relationship,
unless you're explicitly playing to the like I am dating all my viewers simultaneously vibe, which some people do.
Does Watame?
Huh?
Watame?
No. Well, Watame kind of does that, but
doesn't she say everyone's her husband or something?
No, that's Nene.
Nene?
Momos is in Nene.
Oh, it's because they're both white. I meant their color schemes. Actually, Nene's kind of blonde. I don't know. They're just floofy. That's another thing that's putting them together in my mind. Yeah. And then you have Fubuki, who is like, "Friend, we are friends.
We're friends, not no boyfriend, only friend."
No, he's like, dude asked, "Will you be my wife?" Like, no wife, only friend.
And then on the other hand, then it's like, "Oh, one more husband."
He joined the fray.
Yeah.
Turn that into like an old Spanish woman.
Dude, it's so funny when people will drop like I'm gonna get divorced, and she'll just like play sad music and she'll be like, divorce. She's funny. Again, like with VTubing you can do, they're all great. With VTubing you can kind of get away with stuff. Like there's a whole thing that I would like love to see an essay being written and like interviews being done, because like VTubing, the thing with VTubing is you can get away with shit that being a IRL woman on stream can't do, right? Because you're completely anonymous pretty much. And also like any comment about your body you can be in on the joke. Well,
and also it's like if you like, you know, like Gura, they make those jokes about her being hydrodynamic or whatever.
And she can join in because it's not them bullying her fucking real human body.
They're bullying her character.
Yeah.
And for all you know, Gura, well, you know, you could find that fucking picture of her, but like, you shouldn't. If you're going to be healthy about it.
Just don't be sus.
Yeah. Like, look and be like, oh,
if you want to look at
she's cute in real life. Okay, bye.
She's fine. You know, whatever.
But it's like, if Gura, she doesn't, but if she had like fucking like gigantic tits, but then you go look at like Mori gets showed as like real life, and she's like slim flat. And just like no, like, or she's like short and has like no tits. It would be like, haha, it's their characters
opposite.
Are reversed.
Yeah, but you know, you could never know. That's just the vibe. I don't know. Like VTubing, you can kind of get away with stuff, and I get why a lot of women want to do it, because it's easier to be like anonymous.
Neanders was in like an interview where she said like that it's it's safe because she's like totally anonymous or whatever, which I don't think it's true.
Well, she used to do IRL streaming.
She like
or live action, I guess.
Well, she used to have she would do a face cam every once in a while. She did that stream as 2B. Like you can find what she looks like, but I think it's that it like since it's not constantly in your head, you don't think of like and when you think of Neanders, you think of a fucking.
You think of her model, or you think of her old shit.
I think of a tiny cat girl, but then every single time they update her model, I'm like, oh no, she's supposed to have tits. She just doesn't have Iron Mouse tits.
Yeah, she doesn't have big old tibbers.
Yeah, I think that is a problem. I kind of have a lot of like Western VTuber models. Is that most of them are just like humongous tits. And it's like, hey man, can we like tone it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. We're all horny for the titty. But
Everybody
sometimes it's too much.
That's fair.
Like, Silvervale.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the only example I can come up with, but there's another one who has, like, mega titty.
Well, okay, that one I think is supposed to be funny.
That is, yeah.
Hime Hajime.
Well, it's like when Nanners did those fucking, those streams that it was just, like, too big. Like, it was big. It went, like, going up above her head. That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
That was a good joke.
Hime Hajime is, like, ginorm titty.
Yeah.
And I think it's just funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
But yeah. Anyway, respect women even if they're VTubers, and like just don't harass people. Don't harass people for like anything, but especially don't harass people for the crime of having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Streamers, even the ones that try to play into that element of being a woman streamer, are not your girlfriend. They're not your fucking friend. These are entertainers whom you presumably enjoy watching, and they are making content for you to enjoy.
Yeah. And
you should appreciate them, and if you want to donate because you like their stuff, do it. If you don't. Mm-hmm. Don't be a fucking weirdo. Touch grass.
Yeah.
It's snowing here, but touch snow.
You could dig deep enough.
Yeah.
Touch the snow. Touch snow. Touch a bit of mud.
Touch a woman.
If you see, let's not say that one.
Meet a woman.
Go give your mother a hug.
Talk to
or your father.
A woman.
Go if your father's willing to touch you, even though you're so disgusting.
Kiss a male friend on the lips.
With their consent.
With their consent, of course.
So, anyways, moving on to other people who should touch grass.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they work primarily outside.
Yeah.
The Ambassador Bridge is currently blockaded. Mm-hmm. Which is funny to me, because that's not the only bridge to get in and out of the country.
Yep.
The other one is like 2 hours away, which sucks for like people who have to like change their routes. But last time when I was on my way back into Canada, mm-hmm. I was not allowed to enter through the Ambassador Bridge because the winds were too high. Yeah, it happens sometimes. But yeah. Initially, I believe when the first so this is about the trucker convoy and all that. That is literally like 50 people who are screaming at us to let them be pieces of shit, but it's not our fault.
So like we haven't talked about the trucker convoy and Ottawa thing.
So we forgot to last week, and then the week before was a long episode.
Yeah, it was like the week before, I think it was like just started happening.
It was that we heard it was on its way. Yeah. Last week it was in Ottawa, and we just didn't
talk about it because we had to do the holies.
Yeah, and then all they were doing in Ottawa was making life a living hell for the people you can't do anything about. This is the exact same scenario as like when a Black Lives Matter protest has assholes come into it and turn it in, and it ends up being into like a kind of, it can become a riot with outside like people not involved with the initial protest come in, start fights, and then cops are just like, finally, we get to abuse people.
Yeah, that. But the difference with this,
but then store windows get smashed, and then everyone was like, why can't these Black Lives Matter people be peaceful? And that's the same thing. But then now that the truckers are doing it,
these people are grieving, and like the difference is like even if you are somebody like the Black Lives Matter thing is very explicitly for a good reason and an act of grief, and like riots are gonna fucking happen.
Was a huge collection of people like that. You would look at the initial protest, like the march that would happen, and it would take up an entire like 6-lane street, all the way down. Cops would have to like stop vehicles and stuff. They would like march down like the main street to a Capitol building, and then they would like occupy that space until some dickhead ruined it for everyone else.
Yeah, or like some of the worst shit happened where it was like, what was it? It was like a Target got robbed because they wouldn't let people in, and people wanted to buy fucking medical stuff to help people who were injured by the cops, right? So it's like, yeah, just fucking shoplift. It's a fucking Target. Like, who gives a shit?
It was the Target was they were like the people were getting. It was one of the protests where the cops were being incredibly aggro, like immediately going to violence as they do. And then people were like, oh shit, let's hide inside the Target or whatever. And Target employees, for some reason, were like, no, you can't come in. So they stormed inside the Target, and they were like, whoa, they're looting the Target. Which they ended up looting the Target. They were looting the Target. But if you let them in the first time...
Also, who fucking cares? It's a Target.
Yeah.
Do you think Target gives a shit?
Also,
they shouldn't.
Theoretically, if you let those people in to go in and pick up their medical needs... They might have paid for it.
They might have.
Because they were like...
people needed fucking water to wash people's eyes out.
Instead, people were fucking the cops were tear gassing them, and they had to go somewhere, and you were blockading them.
Exactly.
So it's going to happen. But now we have these blockades created by little shitheads who just won't accept to be vaccinated.
So if you want to... Yeah, and like... much of the discourse is very frustrating.
When they were in Ottawa, all they did was occupy a bunch of the roads that driving was very hard or nigh impossible, and they would honk they were like parking just in the middle of the roads, not hurting fucking like any Congress people or whatever.
Well, no, they were
because they can all work from home.
Yeah. So mostly affected people who weren't the people who they wanted to bother, but on top of that, they were, harassing tons and tons of people, and specifically a lot of people were trying to cross on foot and ended up getting beat up and shit like that. But the thing with the trucker convoy is, as somebody who has done now more research than I wanted to, but obviously less than somebody who had to write like a fucking essay about it, but essentially, like, at the start they were like, hey, we're truckers. Most truckers are owner-operators. They're contract workers. They own their trucks, but they take contracts. And they're like, hey, it's negatively affecting my business that I have to do this 2-week waiting to get in Canada. This thing that was the rule. And, not that I say that should be repealed, but I think that's a valid complaint. I think that's a very reasonable complaint. You're like, I literally have to pay all this shit out of pocket. I only make money for contracts. This is reducing the number of contracts I can take by wasting my time.
And also, a lot of truckers are living because of the cost of trucking and the competitive contracts you take. Like, you can underball it so you can take it over someone else.
The industry has been completely lowballed. As somebody who has family in the transportation industry, it is like the expected cost of shipping has not changed at all in the last 20 years, despite the fact that, inflation has happened and, wages should be going up over time.
Yeah, but that's why Starbucks is about to be more expensive.
Right, but the problem is, if you want to hear something interesting, it's like, what happens with the trucking industry, right? What's happened with the transportation industry is this, horrible startup small business culture, where somebody will make a brand new company, right? They will run that company at a fucking loss, right? And just pick up things and boom, 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 and lowball. The company goes out of business, and then the company goes bankrupt and is in huge amounts of debt, but the person running it isn't. So then they just file for bankruptcy on the company closes, they open a new fucking company, do the same thing all over again. The people or the group of people who own the company make money, but they fuck up the entire industry.
Yeah.
So that's a thing going on in the transportation industry. So again, truckers do have at its core a valid complaint, right? However, what's happened was specifically groups of truckers that were on top of this valid complaint were also anti-vax, have been supported by people in mostly Alberta, but specifically people who are associated with the Wexit or Alberta statehood groups, and people who are members of Rebel News and other far right wing parties and companies that have money in Canada and they've been funded, and essentially this thing that like the Union of Truckers and like the General Trucking Association do not stand for, and most truckers don't stand for, and it's been called this trucker convoy, and it's not even that. It's like that is the fucking rhetoric that it's been built on, but it's now become a completely different thing that has to do with all these fucking losers from Alberta who want to, and like other right-wing groups that are anti-vax, to just fucking be stupid. And the repeal of the vaccine mandates by going to Ottawa is also stupid because the vaccine mandates aren't national, they're provincial.
And also, to enter the United States, you need to be double vaxxed. To come back into Canada afterwards, you need to be double vaxxed. There was just that 2-week waiting period, which that's the only issue.
That is the main issue. That's like you don't have to have a reasonable complaint.
You don't have to have a massive protest about it. You can literally send like a fucking letter to your governor, or what do we call it? Premier?
Premier, yeah.
I always forget.
They could have written to that.
You could write to your premier. You can stage a protest inside of your own province. Thing. You can be reasonable about it and say, "Hey, I'm losing work because of the 2 weeks." But then anti-vaxxers, anti-COVID
they all
vaxxers,
coalesce it around this like reasonable thing, and like this reasonable thing to have a little protest about it for truckers. Absolutely reasonable, fucking reasonable. Even if I go like, well, the 2-week thing is there for a reason. Like, have a little protest about it. I don't give a fuck. That's like totally a reasonable complaint. Yeah. But the problem is like, because it's a complaint about COVID restrictions, all the anti-COVID grifters just fucking jumped on it, right?
Yeah. Like, I believe there was definitely like one guy, the first person to ever say all lives matter, might have been a dude who was just at like, or a dude or a woman or a they them, who was just like chilling at like a Black Lives Matter protest and started hearing some of the things being yelled and just like went to talk to one person and was just like, hey, the way you're saying it sounds a little rough. Maybe we could have a conversation about this. And then someone goes like, yeah, they are saying it rough. All lives matter. You guys should fuck off.
Yeah,
and it becomes like a hate thing where it's like, it's like the not all men thing. Yeah. Where like the first guy to say not all men was be like, well, you're oversimplifying everything. It's a bigger issue. Not just blaming an entire gender is going to help. But then it turns into a bunch of dudes going like, I hold the door open for women actually sometimes.
Right.
So, and if you don't fuck me, that's because you're a shallow whore with internalized misogyny.
Like I would say like those two examples you gave, I would say are even less reasonable than this complaint. Like the person who's like, I'm a little bit
is that it's one person saying something and then a bunch of dickheads jumping on.
A lot of shitty movements start that way with the person who might not be a bad actor but might be a reasonable person, and then people jump on the things this person's saying, and this person doesn't even necessarily like join in with the thing that's based on their shit, you know. It's rough. Anyway, they've been terrorizing Ottawa. I think they're coming to Toronto. They've already made it to Toronto.
I think they might have skipped Toronto and just gone straight to the Ambassador Bridge. Just to get the Ambassador Bridge, you have to go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Or Fort Erie.
The Ambassador Bridge is the Niagara Falls one?
It's one of them.
Oh, there's a couple.
Well, okay, because you can enter. There's the one in Niagara Falls, which I don't think is the Ambassador Bridge.
Yeah.
And then there's one into, like from Fort Erie, which I think might be, I'm just going to Google it.
Then there's the one.
Or it could be in Windsor.
The Windsor one? No, that has a different name. The Windsor Bridge.
It is in Windsor.
Really?
It is the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor.
Damn.
And it's completely shut down right now, obviously. So if you can't get in from the Ambassador Bridge on Windsor, I swear there's another way in that I had to take, but whatever.
But the thing,
you can drive north and go to Sarnia.
So the thing I do want to talk about, because it's a thing always worth talking about, is the reaction of the police, especially in Ottawa, to this thing. Because if you remember, there were Black Lives Matter protests in Ottawa and in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know what they did there? They tear gassed people. Mm-hmm. They did all the shit the American cops did. Right? Maybe not quite as bad, but they did many of the same tactics. They did use tear gas. They did use.
They probably just like fired it at the actual arc it's supposed to go into.
Yeah, I don't think they were
directing into people's eye sockets.
I don't think they were doing the like, yes, I want to murder people. shooting of tear gas. I didn't hear about as many injuries from the Ottawa one. I could be wrong.
Canadian cops want to do it, but they know that there's a greater repercussions.
Yeah, because we're a slightly more liberal
Like, you
nation.
can tase a baby, but if you shoot tear gas at the wrong angle, dear God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just go, like, 2 hours up the I-94... from instead of going on the Ambassador Bridge, you can get to I don't know what it's in the States, but it's Sarnia here, so you can enter there, which seems what people are doing because it has busy area on it. So not bad.
Yeah. But in Ottawa with this, the Ottawa police basically were fine with it. They referred to them in tweets as like a host nation, which is weird. They were like very pro because every time there's a right-wing protest, the police tend not to use the same kind of violence or tactics as when there's a left-wing protest.
Because the police would protest or aka go to their union, because that's why maybe I want to have a union. You can use collective power instead of like 10% of you being fucking dickheads. They would be like, hey, actually cops don't want to wear
masks,
like every single form of anti-COVID measure, or they'll be like, we'll wear masks, but we don't want to wear that fucking visor and shit like that.
Right.
The union can fight against it, but since all these truckers are individual, they all have an individualist mindset to it, but also think they're all supported.
Right.
They're like, I'm the free thinker, you're all the sheeple.
Exactly. But the police, so in case you don't know, I haven't heard this element, I don't know, you probably know this. Cops, not just in Canada, in America, everywhere, in general, police are more conservative than the general population. That's just a fact. And it especially with COVID, there is a very large anti-vax element within the police. This is not, even if you are a very pro-police person, this is not me making a statement that is at all like subjective. That is factual. There is a large anti-vax movement within the police, and police tend to vote more conservatively than the general population. These are just true facts about the world. Like, even if you are a pro-police, if you're not abolish, if you're not defund even, those are just facts. Like, so, and when it came to this protest, the police did not act. The police were very friendly, much like at the start of Jan 6, if you remember. Over the course of Jan 6, the police did become more violent towards those the fucking people in America. In this protest, they did not. They never really escalated the same way. Which is not good. I mean, it's not good that they didn't do that. Like, it's not good. It's not good to have the police tear gas anybody. But if you only tear gas leftists, I think that's worse. I don't know. If I had to choose, I would want the police to act like this towards most protests.
Yeah.
But if my option was they only fuck over leftists or they fuck over both, I'll take the both.
Yeah, because then at least I go like, wow, they're actually doing something for something I believe in.
Right.
Like, I think those truckers, like, okay, obviously, I do not believe in excessive force. Yeah. But what I do believe in is fines.
Yeah.
And like, I get a ticket. If you park on my street overnight right now, you get a ticket instantly because of fucking snow shit.
Yeah.
Like, I got a ticket because I left Blake's car overnight.
Parked on the street instead of the driveway.
Yeah, I was like moving the cars around and I just forgot to put his back in. But like shit like that, those dudes were parked in the middle of the street, illegally, not doing anything. They should get a ticket every fucking like.
They should probably be fucking towed.
Apparently it costs tons to tow a truck though.
Okay.
And also you do need access
the police budget for Ottawa is fucking ginormous.
All I'm saying is to tow a vehicle, you generally need access to the inside of the vehicle. And if there's a guy inside of the vehicle actively fucking like stopping you, it's one thing to give fines. It's another thing to have to remove the guy sitting inside the vehicle. So I'd really rather you just assign a cop to that area and obviously give them a partner in case someone decides to act up and literally just have them keep walking up and down the rows, just slapping more tickets on hoods.
Yeah. And like there is a big element also that I'm seeing where it's like the GoFundMe got taken down and shit like that.
Towing is also a really good step to have it to like justifying their like this is an authoritarian police state for the left sort of ideals that a lot of these fuckers have.
So yeah, well, more libertarian, but yeah.
I don't want to be mean to truckers. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of libertarians are truckers.
Yeah, I think that's pretty valid.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm saying
if you're a trucker, I'm going to assume you are more, if you're playing with the four-way political compass, I would say all truckers are probably in the bottom half.
Authoritarian, libertarian shit.
No. Well, yeah.
Or that's like two different sides, right?
So there's left, right, authoritarian, libertarian.
Yeah.
So bottom left would be like anarchist or anarcho-communist. Top left would be like very Marxist, like Stalinist, communist, right?
Yeah.
Top right would be fascist. Bottom right tends to be like an American libertarian. So most truckers, I would say, are on the bottom half, and I think there's like 50-50 if you meet a trucker that they're like either more of an anarchist or more of a libertarian. Like, I'd say in general, they're probably overall more like broadly anarchist, but if they're ANCAP or if they're ANCOM, it varies. But yeah, like... It's frustrating and it's stupid, and they should tow them because like cops tow trucks all the fucking time. Like, they might get in a fight, but also I've watched Cops, the television show, before, and they're totally fine with getting into a fight and towing a car.
The political spectrum on like Wikipedia's page about it doesn't have like other stuff. Like, you can put the terms in it, but it's economic right, economic left. So that's your position on how much you enjoy spending.
Oh, it's social left, social right, economic left, economic right is how Wikipedia does it.
Economic left, economic right, authoritarian is up, and libertarian is down.
Yeah.
So I would say I would like.
You'd probably be bottom left.
No.
Like somewhere in the bottom left chunk.
I don't like libertarian as well.
Okay.
That's the problem. I'm not a libertarian.
No. I mean, so there's the American definition of libertarian, and there's the historical definition of libertarian. Libertarianism is like more freedoms, right? So drugs being legalized or decriminalized is more libertarian. Drugs being illegal is more authoritarian, right? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm very bottom left.
Libertarians seek to, like Wikipedia definition, seek to maximize autonomy and political freedom, minimize the state, emphasizing free association, freedom of choice, individualism, and voluntary association.
Yeah, so like
they hear minimize. They literally go like maximized autonomy, political freedom, minimize the state, and then stop reading.
Yeah, like I don't. So
but then they don't think about what minimize the state means. Consider it to be fucking.
So I'm not so anarchist that I'm like we shouldn't have a government, but I am anarchist enough to be like community fridges are fine and the government should stop shutting them down.
I don't see how that's anarchist at all.
It's so generally community fridges are pretty anarchist.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, like mutual aid, a lot of people who do mutual aid are anarchists.
I just believe that if money is going to exist, anything I spend money on, that includes my taxes, on all that, I should be getting my fair shake back. But that doesn't mean police and shit. That means like I shouldn't have to pay for dental.
Yeah,
I'm paying for health care.
So yeah, so you're probably in there where you're like, I think more things should be legal, I think
there is a necessity for police. I think that the money we pay to the government should go to making sure all of us in the country are healthy and like ready to live our lives. I think we should I think the government should step in more when it comes to businesses. Yeah. Because God, if we could have small businesses everywhere, I'd love it. Yeah. But we can't because the supply chains and all that have been taken over by Walmart and Loblaws. So it's like virtually impossible to become an independent grocer here anymore. Yeah. So we're stuck with nothing but big businesses. So, but because those big businesses have all this bullshit, I would love the government to step in and say, "Hey, buddy,
Yeah.
You have to do this.
Like, I think... yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Like, I am with you on that. Like, I do think there are... It's just, like... So, I'm not like, an anarchist. I'm not, like, that... I believe in some things that anarchists believe in. Like, I do think that... I do agree that, like, I think hierarchies are inherently unequal. Like, that's just a fact.
Well, they're hierarchies.
Yeah, right. Like, that they're inherently bad. I agree.
Yeah,
but I also think that there's currently a hierarchy, whether we like it or not, and so within that system, there are certain things that need to be changed.
But at least with our hierarchy, it's we have the guise or the ideal of thinking that we
have democratic elements.
We have chosen that hierarchy. It's not like some bullshit where we have a king or a queen and shit like that.
Yeah, there's democratic elements.
Technically, if you talk to an American, we do.
Well, we do have a queen.
Yeah, but she doesn't do anything. She does more. She does the same. Whatever the queen and the royal family does for England is the exact same they do for us. And guess what? It's still nothing.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it is if the royal family were to, like, be really fucking annoying, like, be that type of person, they could take over England and
because they can dissolve the government whenever they want.
They could dissolve the prime minister. They can overrule. They could just, like, be back.
It's just that there's something
Canada might, like, the rest of the Commonwealth might not have to take that. They'll probably just leave the Commonwealth.
We could probably just say bye.
Yeah,
we're out of here. See you.
It could cost an important
start a war.
Yeah, exactly. Britain doesn't have an army enough to do that.
Even if they had an army, it's like somehow, even though with our pitiful army,
yeah,
I feel like we would still beat. And also, the United States is right there, and we'd be like, "Hey guys."
And if they were to try to start like a land war in Canada, I feel like Canada is somewhere you don't want to do a land war. It's not Russia, but, like, you know, don't start a land war in Russia is very famous.
Yeah, well, because that's how fucking Germany lost a ton of forces.
That's how, like, many countries have lost wars, because it's like we need to fight Russia in a war, and Russia's like, bitch, we got mountains and snow.
It was like to get into that's why the territory of Russia is so fucking huge, is because they all settled on the eastern side of Russia, and then they were like, okay, now we're going to start charting out and building settlements until we hit a mountain, because that's like a good stopping place. And then they fucking went across most of the globe until they got to mountains. So, like, even if you cross those mountains, like that massive mountain range, it's like the other side is a tundra.
Yeah, and it's like the bit where it's like, if you are fighting a land war with Russia, is Russia just needs to defend a location that you can get to mid-Russia from long enough for winter to kick in, and just all your soldiers die because you don't have enough rations.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. It's just like a matter of time.
No, so that's how you can win, like, any war, really. It's just, like, hold a fucking location for long enough.
Yeah, right. Like, but with Russia, it's like the forces just die.
And Ontario is so fucking weird that, like, Ottawa is closer to the border, so, like, they have similar weather to us. So even if they were to, like, take Ottawa, it's just like, all right, we're gonna drive, like, a few hours north.
Yeah.
To, like, Barrie. And it's like, well, it snows here all the time.
Right, but also, like, land wars don't happen anymore. So more likely it's just that they would send out a drone and massacre all of Toronto. Yeah.
And then we'd be like, oh, wow. All right, send out a drone. We're going to go massacre all of fucking London.
Yeah.
And guess what? More of your population is there.
Yeah.
And you're a smaller city, a smaller country. We could get it over with really quickly.
We'll
let Ireland take back what they lost and more.
Dude. Oh, man, I'd love to go to London, Ireland.
It would be so fucking hilarious, actually, if there was some
Ireland, fucking the Republic of Ireland just swoops in.
No, if fucking Canada, if like the UK was like, if Canada was like, we're leaving the Commonwealth, and the UK tried to start a war with us over it, and then while they were sending their troops over as well, Scotland was like, we're out of here, and it was literally just like the United Kingdom and Wales.
Yeah.
Wales isn't big enough, and also just for the joke, I'm going to say they side with the United Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Is that some like Canada fucking destroys them, or we get the US involved and they go and destroy them, and Ireland is just like free land, and it just becomes like Scotland, Ireland.
Yeah. No, yeah, I could see just like situation where that happens, or like,
and also I'm sure
the IRA joins the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure before like they even if everyone in if Canada decided to leave the Commonwealth, Australia would leave. Everyone who's in it would just be like, no, we're not going to respect the Queen or whatever. And then even their own country would probably be like, no, we're not going to respect them either. Like. Yeah. You're going to dissolve a government, and the government's not going to turn like you don't fire.
It probably it would not happen unless you got like a member of the royal family that was like pure fascist and had the power and like any sort of public
love.
Yeah, like love. Like a lot of like if
weirdly they sometimes do.
Right, like if I think honestly. There are members of the royal family that I think could have done it, or that are around that could do it if they wanted to.
Queen Elizabeth, like 50 years ago,
could have gotten away with it.
Yeah. In like 1955 or something.
So the issue is, it would have to have been maybe a little bit after that, because UK was riding off of World War II being a victory, and Winston Churchill being like considered a very good leader, obviously a more controversial person when you actually take a look at him.
He did a good job at the war. Everything else he's ever been a part of.
Very well respected leader. Like the public liked him, right? So probably he couldn't have done it like that soon after World War II, but probably somewhere in the 60s or 70s they could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
I think then the problem is like
restarting the empire.
Yeah. Then the problem is like the royal family becomes this like thing of gossip magazines in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And like the Princess Di shit.
As soon as Princess Di shows up, that you fucking...
Because then no individual member of the royal family gets love. Generally, it's like everybody has complicated feelings about all of them. It's like, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. Oh, this person sucks. Oh, Princess Di got a fucking divorce.
I would actually love an alternate reality like past and shit.
Yeah.
Where like Princess Di joins the royal family, becomes this like darling of like the fucking world, and
just ascends to and then Queen Elizabeth dies unexpectedly, and she becomes queen.
Or no, the assassination never happens. Or the accident never happens.
It was an accident. The guy was driving drunk, dude.
Yeah, okay. But I just like I like the conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories are fun. The man was drunk driving.
Okay, but if Queen Elizabeth did have the plan to abolish the Commonwealth and put them all under the Great British Empire 2.0, then her advisors would be like, Princess Diana is loved.
Yeah.
You need to either kill Princess Diana, and that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Or get your son to smarten the fuck up.
Yeah.
So an alternate history where fucking like what was it Charles?
I think it was Charles.
Where like let's just go with it. Charles is like this guy who's like, I tried to cheat on my wife and my mother said no, and he like holds bitter feelings of resentment the whole time. Camilla's just some like old bitch back in the United States. Or the Queen is definitely going to die soon, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Well, no, she's still alive. She was seen in public like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, she's dead on April 9th, 2022.
Isn't that the meme that people keep saying that?
Something like that.
And then
what happens when the Queen dies and then this Big Ben fucking explodes?
Because
I love that meme.
Because she said recently in an interview that she wants the world, or like the royal family and all that, to consider Camilla a queen after she passes. So Charles would become the king, and Camilla would be his queen. So an American woman would be a queen.
Is she American?
That's the whole thing about it. She's a divorced American woman, and that's why when Charles wanted to leave Diana,
I thought they grew up together, because like she was like he was in love with her, but then she had gotten married to someone else, and then he had to.
I believe she's American because people make a bunch of like things about like Camilla and Meghan.
Yeah.
Because they're both like American women, and like, you know, the father went and married off to an American, and okay, so I was wrong.
Yeah.
She was from London. Maybe she was living in America or something.
She lived in America for a bit, or she like married an American, her first husband. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Horrible person.
Truly terrible. She's not that bad. Actually, I'm gonna walk back on that. She probably wasn't that bad. It's him that sucks.
Oh, it is him that sucks, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the problem was, like, and the whole situation sucks, because if you're like, I'm in love with this person, it's like, yes, but they're divorced. Like, you can't get married to this person that you're in a relationship
with. And they're
with.
Like, here's this hot bitch who's like 20 years younger
than you. Here's this literal 19-year-old girl that you're going to get married to. Who is, like, she's gorgeous.
Incredibly beautiful. And then you're just like, no.
But you have nothing in common, and you've been raised only to ever get your way.
But then, yeah,
but also, with very distant parents.
But also, all you needed to do was have children.
Shut the fuck up and
her.
Cheat on her.
Not cheat on her. That's like, cheat on her, but don't fucking, like, do anything else. Yep. Like, do what you want. But she just had to be treated well.
Yeah.
It's actually the whole British family's fault.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
She needed to be treated well, and just, she needed to raise 3 or 2, I think it's 2.
She just said the 2.
2, like, smart children. And instead she got like 10 years into that and was like, well, I am constantly trying to kill myself because this place treats me so poorly.
It sucks.
All right, let's talk about the actual news now.
What else happened? It's fun to talk about that shit. Anyway,
it is, but we shouldn't have gone it for a while.
Probably shouldn't go to war with anybody. Because war's bad. We were not pro-war.
Wait like 15 more years and then go to war.
I'm still going to be anti-war. Anyway, Platinum Games announced that they're going to start making bad games, although this seems to be something that ended up having bad translation about it, but I didn't really care to read into it because it, was boring, and I think the shit about live service stuff was still part of it.
Yeah. Live service isn't a bad concept.
It is.
It's not the worst. There's games that do it well, but overall, it is something that game companies use as an excuse to push out incomplete games, and then the content they put into the games is not complete.
There are live service games that are better and worse. Another problem with live service games is the fact that their quality changes over time. See Destiny 2.
Yeah, game that started off...
At a point in your life, you adored Destiny 2.
I still miss it.
Yeah, right?
So, yeah. But like something like Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World, which launched with less content than all the previous Monster Hunter games, still is a full, complete game. And then the updates they put out were good.
Was huge.
And but like the updates they put out between were all really good.
The free stuff was good, and the paid stuff was good.
And then the paid stuff was amazing. And then after the paid stuff, you got like 2 full years of it. While the other team was working on Rise.
Yeah.
And then Rise is out, and honestly, Rise isn't getting a lot of like ongoing content. The Monster Hunter games since Monster Hunter 2 have been live service games.
Yeah, and I would. You could make an argument where it's like, well, Monster Hunter is less live service and more of like the inspiration for live service games or whatever.
Yeah,
because it's just an old franchise. But like if we talk about less good live service games, like any Ubisoft game, Destiny 2, right, or like even fucking MMOs, right? MMOs were also the original live service, and like some MMOs are good, some MMOs aren't.
Fortnite.
Right? Fortnite's a live service game. It's relatively quality.
Yeah,
right?
Fortnite, but also Fortnite
but it's free.
Prior to when it was they paid part of the game, because the Battle Royale just got so popular that they stopped making the other fucking game.
Yeah, Save the World.
But at the time, that was a live service game that was like in early access.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very good.
And so like, yes, there are games that are consistently updated online, mostly online experiences that are quality, but ultimately like that's not what people want from Platinum Games.
What people want from Platinum Games is a good,
well-designed
single
player experience that is all about like good game design and like being very original, right? That's the thing that I associate with Platinum, is like one of a kind games with really good design that are fun to go back to.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Platinum's been good at. But as we can tell,
games that like 20,000 people really love and no one else plays, but then those 20,000 people never shut the fuck up until they become million-seller franchises.
Exactly, right?
Bayonetta.
And so Platinum has been having it rough recently. Like, we know they've been bleeding some talent.
I think it's that Kamiya doesn't want to lead any projects. Creatively, they don't have anyone inside the company who can really actually like helm an entire project right now. And
like
they probably
Bayo 3 has gone through some really rough development.
And they probably don't have the capital to...
well, no, they've gotten a good amount of new investments, but like...
Okay, that's good. But like you still would have to contract someone out.
Yeah.
Like how Nintendo contracts Sakurai. Well, Nintendo contracts Bandai Namco, who contracts Sakurai.
No, I think it's that they contract both. But yeah, it's true, right? And like Platinum, I adore Platinum games. Bayonetta 3 has had really rough development. It's apparently, like, if you look up some behind-the-scenes stuff, the entire game ended up getting scrapped more than once.
Yeah.
Which is bad. Like
Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Yeah.
It got scrapped only one time, but still.
Well, it got scrapped, but after, like, 2 years of development.
Exactly. And, like, you know, Babylon's Fall is a live service game. Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't originally.
Also, but if you wanted to make that game, but make it, like, a co-op slasher game, sure, but as soon as you go like it's a live service and it's like I've played Godfall, that game sucks.
Yeah, and it's like it could be Godfall with better combat, and it's like cool, that might be fun.
Godfall's problem isn't the combat though.
Yeah, exactly.
Its problem is the way the game is presented. It's the live service. It's the fucking boring content that you have to do.
Because because live service games are ultimately about taking more time, not being more fun. Yeah. And the thing that Platinum Games is really good at is about making games that are more fun.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of done with I think after this week I'm officially done with MMOs.
Yeah.
They were a huge part of my if the Activision Blizzard acquirement of Microsoft says World of Warcraft is done, make World of Warcraft 2 or whatever, I'm fucking there in a heartbeat. Yeah. But I'm not playing. I don't want to play the next World of Warcraft expansion. Mm-hmm. I do want to go look up what happened with the story in the current one.
Did they announce that they're bringing Dragon Quest X offline version to the West?
Did they?
Yeah, okay, I think they did. So Dragon Quest X offline version, because Dragon Quest X was the MMO.
Yeah.
They did a fully offline version, which is the same game, but it's not. There's no other people.
So it's a very empty world.
Yeah, I think they retool some stuff and make it less grindy, right?
Yeah, the only way I'd come back to if World of Warcraft 2 was made is that it would have to have the same content. Like, the same amount of content as Vanilla WoW, immediately. And then I'd be like, okay, sure, I'm in. But other than that, MMOs do not hold me anymore.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for kicking this.
Next week, and they announced the new WoW expansion. I had to finish the new content.
I'd love to see... this is such I don't know, this is a pretty, inside baseball reference, but... Ian outside the Activision Blizzard office smoking a cigarette. Because, in Alcoholics Anonymous, they say, oh, you're kicking booze. You probably should start smoking.
Have you ever seen the Tiny Dancer music video?
No.
For that Elton John had, YouTube make?
What?
He did, a contest with YouTube or something, because, he doesn't like music videos because he thinks he's an ugly piece of shit. Mm-hmm. So the Tiny Dancer music video is just a bunch of small stories around LA, and you get to see it progress throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And there's one that makes me cry really hard. I literally watched it drunk with Blake 2 weeks ago, and I started crying. And he turned it off, and I'm I wanted to finish it. There's this older haggard looking woman handing outside of a liquor store. Yeah. And there's a guy who's buying liquor, and this is a time their stories intersect, because then he gets arrested for drunk driving in the video.
Yeah.
She's there, and she's twirling a coin in her hand. It's she's struggling. That's me outside of Activision.
Dude, so true.
Yeah, video makes me cry so much. I started crying thinking about it.
Oh,
tears me up. It's very beautiful. You should watch it.
Beautiful. I will watch it.
Yeah. And then they just. It makes me miss music videos.
Yeah.
Me and Blake were drunk as fuck, just watching music videos until 7 a.m. That was the day before. That was the week we had to skip the podcast. At 4 a.m. we just started watching music videos. And we just watched them all, and I'm I missed them.
In the Discord call, I showed everybody a music video that I had suddenly come back into my brain after a long time.
Yeah.
That was pretty relevant, I think, to my sexual awakening, which was the music video for Cookie Jar by Gym Class Heroes. because there's a section of that music video.
Yeah,
do you remember it?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I'm not actually familiar. It was just that Sexual Awakening reminded me of 2 music videos we watched back to back.
Okay, so the Gym Class Heroes video is Cookie Jar is a song about how he can't help but cheat on his girlfriends.
Mm-hmm. What a dick.
He's like, I can't keep my hands, can't keep my hands out the cookie jar. And then he does a bit where he refers to a bunch of women as in cookie ways, and they're just in bikinis wearing
the pattern of the cookie, or like
no, they're just wearing a sash that says Miss name of the cookie.
Oh, okay.
So there's like a bit where it's like
that would be like mint chocolate chip, bitch, and she's wearing like
yeah, he's like
turquoise and mint colored, I guess. Go on.
You got a thing for biscotti Italian.
It's just a bunch of hot girls in bikinis.
Yeah,
and you're just like imagining like, what if I was
Brazilians? Hazelnut Brazilians, macadamia Caucasians, double stuff of thin mint. It don't matter who getting it. It's like so bad. It's like not a song that I'm like, it's a good song. It's a song that I had on my iPod Touch, the music video version of.
Yeah. Because
remember, you could buy the music video version on your iPod Touch back in the day. And I had that, and like
which now Spotify just does that with songs.
That was like around the same time that I started watching pornography. Like it was like around that same time. I would say another music video that was a sexual awakening was Mr. Brightside.
Really?
Do you watch that music video?
No.
Okay, so there's a burlesque show in that music video.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And it's really sexy.
Okay, so we were talking about music videos.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about weird music videos. Mm-hmm. So I put on The Less I Know the Better by Tame Impala.
I don't know that music video.
It was a video made from like a film contest sort of thing again, but it's got like this weird imaging about like this hot cheerleader girl, like she's like this dude gets like a crush on her, and then he really wants to have sex with her, but then after he has sex with her, he like turns into a gorilla. But then it's like, but then also while he's like waiting, like wanting to fuck her, he sees her fucking gorillas.
Yeah.
And it's just like super fucking weird. And I'm like, I have no idea what this video is. And we tried to figure it out. But then because we were on the topic of sex, we went and looked at Fantasy by DYE. Are you familiar with that one?
No.
That's the animated music video that turns into like a horror fucking manga, like in the middle of it. It's like these 2 girls and these 2 guys, and one of the girls is clearly dating the other guy. They like go sneak into like the pool at their school, and then the other girl like starts like making out and like getting fingered by like her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to like this incredibly like uncomfortable, like the other girl clearly not into the other dude there, but he's like trying. And it's like it's gross. But then just in the middle, like he looks over and they both look over, and the girl and the guy have combined into like a Junji Ito fucking monster.
And or like the monster from Akira.
And they start murdering them. And then she like dives into the pool and gets killed, and it's like, what the fuck is this video? But with everyone, like, I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
No, I've never heard of the song even.
Oh man, because it was like one of those things where you'd be like watching music videos on YouTube back in the day, and it would be like, would you like to watch Fantasy by Die? And it's like, oh, maybe. And then you go watch it, and you're like, what the fuck was this?
That's awesome. Let's talk about the Nintendo Direct.
One second, I got one more funny thing. It's short.
Okay.
So, we might have talked about it last week or the week before. Ubisoft is doing NFT games.
Yeah.
Or talking about doing it.
Yeah.
So Jason Schreier wrote up a piece for Bloomberg about Ubisoft employees pushing back hard on the blockchain thing.
They gave away NFTs as a bonus.
Wow, that's stupid. I haven't read the article. I just love this.
To the Rainbow Six Siege team.
I just love this pull quote here.
Okay.
Which is, so they have like an internal forum.
Yeah.
Like that they can all write on. And one of the employees posted and says, "Are we competing with EA for the most hated game studio by the public title? Because this is how you do it."
Valid. Reasonable.
Yeah. So it was on the comments because Ubisoft, like the upper management, posted an in defense of like NFTs thing on like their internal board. It's called Mana.
Yeah.
But then the employee responses were just like, this is fucking stupid, and you're dumb for doing this. Alright, Nintendo Direct time?
Hold on.
New news time? Someone die?
No.
Oh, wait.
You can play as Uncharted characters in Fortnite now. Chloe, and
Naruto
Nathan.
watching as Sasuke gets killed by Spawn, Nathan Drake, Ariana Grande, and Travis Scott.
Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Oh, what was it? Kanye West said something stupid recently.
Oh, yeah. So Billie Eilish said in a concert or whatever that she was like...
She didn't name any names. I remember the quote now.
Yeah.
She was on stage. She saw a fucking fan having an asthma attack, and she stopped the whole show, gave them space, and got her an inhaler. Mm-hmm. And she says, "I won't perform unless you're all okay."
Yeah, and it was like, people were like, oh, it's a shot at Travis Scott because his Astro World thing that killed a bunch of people. Yeah, and then Kanye was like, "Oh, fucking apologize or else I won't go to Coachella." And then everybody's trying to be stupid, and it's like, listen, you don't have to like. You can be somebody who likes Kanye. And
I love Kanye.
Okay.
I think he's a crazy person, and I would love to see him get better. Like,
sure,
Kanye's first 4 albums are all 10 out of 10 masterpieces.
I would say Kanye has quite a good number of bangers. However, I think
wrong for this.
Modern Kanye, not great. Mm-hmm. Personally, have not enjoyed a Kanye album in like about a decade. When did Yeezus come out? It was a decade ago.
Yeah, I'm also on the same board.
Yeah. So like, he's done some great shit, but modern Kanye is wild. And like, listen, get on your meds, buddy. Like, be better, but also be better.
Yeah, Pete
like,
Davidson's right.
Pete Davidson's right.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson can fuck Kim Kardashian. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You're not married to her, buddy. Stop being this like divorced boomer dad energy. Like, he's got divorced boomer dad energy, and like, it's really annoying.
It's like divorced boomer dad energy is like the guy who's like out dating, like trying to find like something hotter than your ex-wife to fuck. With like Kanye, you got it. Just fuck off.
Yeah, he's just being so weird, and like, apologize to Travis Scott, he's great. No, fuck off. He was wrong about this.
Yeah.
He like had a concert and like did not act good. Like, he did a bad act. And also, like, people are trying to do dumb shit and like do the classic like ratio shit, which is annoying. And like, people are bro, Kanye, who fucking cares? Like, and showed like the Instagram subscribers followers
of Billie
Eilish and Kanye. And obviously Billie Eilish does a lot better on Instagram. And then people showed the Twitter followers, and Kanye does better on Twitter. Because these people don't have the same audience. They have different audiences, and they're both giant stars.
Also, if you're not going to Coachella because of one artist dropping out,
yeah,
or if you were only going to Coachella to see Kanye West, you have too much money, and I don't like you.
Yeah, but also if
Go see
anyone
Pup also playing at Coachella,
really,
yeah.
I was going to say, if anybody gets to tweet the L plus ratio plus you dropped off, probably Billie Eilish could do it to Kanye. Just because Billie Eilish has put out more good music more recently than Kanye has.
I don't even like Billie Eilish's music, to be honest.
I don't love her music. I like some of her songs.
Kanye's being a little bitch about those.
I think Kanye's being a little bitch, and this is him. Also, like, Kanye loves bullying women that are much younger than him to get his own way. Classic Kanye move.
Yeah.
Even if they are white women, probably still not great. Like, sure, maybe Beyonce did deserve Album of the Year. That doesn't give you an excuse to, like, be rude to Taylor Swift, for example. Like, I don't even like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, she's not wrong that, like, she won the fucking award. What's she gonna do? Be like, actually, no. I disagree. I don't think I made the best album. Like, no, she's gonna take the compliment and fucking walk away. Also, award shows are stupid.
Yeah, and also, that was MTV.
That was a decade ago. That was well over a decade ago.
It was the
that
MTV
was potentially
VMAs.
15 years.
It's like the worst. It's like the dumbest one.
No one gives a shit. It's not like it was the Grammys, and even if it was, it would be unreasonable. But
yeah,
whatever.
The Grammys at least is like, it's like the Grammys and like Emmys are similar. Where it's like, it's kind of like when you're a smaller star, Emmys and Grammys mean a lot more.
Well,
there's not really a top tier for music one like
that's Academy. The Grammys.
I don't think so. I don't think the Grammys actually hits that level.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
the BET Awards hit the Academy.
No, the Grammys does really good numbers.
I'm sure.
It's just the Grammys is the equivalent, right? Like
of the Academy, but there's also no Emmys or like Golden Globes.
Well, Golden Globes are low.
I guess the MTV VMAs.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of people don't realize what the Emmys are. The Emmys are like the Oscars, but for TV.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's just that. I guess now TV is
modern,
becoming like TV Emmys, in the last 10 years is becoming like a much bigger thing. Yeah. But TV like in the early 2000s and the 90s is like, this is where sitcoms and soap operas are.
Yeah, like back in the day, the Emmys were a lot less.
Thanks to The Sopranos, we have like proper dramas on TV.
Yeah, and like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and all those other shows in the middle, and like arguably Twin Peaks and blah blah blah. But like the trend has gone in this direction over time.
I would say Twin Peaks still has like the weirdo, like the weird outsider thing where it's like
Twin Peaks was huge.
I get that it was huge, but it still has it has a huge.
It's become a cult thing.
Yeah, it's become a cult thing. So it's like, but also Twin Peaks was like isolated, like around it. It's like everything around Twin Peaks was a comedy, sitcom, all that shit.
Yeah.
But then so The Sopranos happens, and they're like, oh my god, The Sopranos is like a massive hit, and then everyone wanted their own Sopranos.
Yeah,
but at least they didn't do the fucking bullshit that like
it was like The Sopranos and The Wire were coming out at the same time.
Yeah, like The Sopranos and The Wire like weren't the same show. They were both about urban crime,
but in completely different settings and told very differently from each other.
Yeah, but then like Game of Thrones comes out, and we get nothing but like Game of Thrones ripoffs now.
That's annoying. Everybody's trying to make their own Game of Thrones now.
Like apparently, that's how Vikings started. Apparently, by the second season, it was like, oh no, it's not even close.
Yeah.
But like the first season, I remember that was like everyone said was it's like this is just Game of Thrones.
Well, like every streaming service and channel needs their own Game of Thrones now. So you've got The Witcher at Netflix. Probably also the reason why they wanted to do that Avatar: The Last Airbender show.
The Witcher has like been so far enough removed from like by the time the first season of The Witcher came out, Game of Thrones was like
almost over.
But they had already started to see that it's like people don't always want the same core things. Where it's like The Witcher's like dark, and I don't watch it. I'm sure he has sex in it at some point.
Of course,
but it's not like Game of Thrones where it was like full frontal happening every episode, and like the important details were happening during the sex scene.
Yeah,
and then everything outside of that was about like, why don't we just kill everybody?
Yeah, The Witcher is like a different show, but ultimately, like I think the motivation for like this upcoming Lord of the Rings show, The Witcher, that upcoming Avatar live action,
that is every single time we hear about it, it sounds worse and worse.
Yeah, well, it sounded a little bit better at one point, and then it sounded worse.
Yeah.
But going on and on, like there's a bunch of fantasy or historical dramas that with action that are being made because they want to grab up that Game of Thrones audience because it was like the biggest show of all time.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah. So that was we got sidetracked somewhere. Anyway, let's talk about the fucking Nintendo Direct.
Yep.
So big Nintendo Direct that happened on February 9th. We're gonna go down the list pretty fast.
Yeah.
So first up,
we'll stop in places.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes.
But worse. Oh, sorry, I read my own thing. I just wrote Fire Emblem Warriors, but just worse.
Fire Emblem Warriors, but worse?
Yeah.
It might be better.
Honestly, probably not, because the core gameplay that sucks about that thing. It might have a better story, but also it removes most of the story of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Well, it's a side story to Three Houses.
It's a side story that will make sure that Three Houses never happens. That's what the Warriors games. That's what Fire Emblem Warriors usually does, because Fire Emblem Warriors is like a side story that takes place outside of the story, where like all the main characters come in
because they're all in different universes.
So like spoilers for Three Houses.
Yeah,
12 hours into that game, the house you chose, either you side with Edelgard or you side with the church. You can betray her even if you were like chose her as like your class and everything.
So, if you side with the blue guys, you don't side with the church.
But you're like alongside of the church.
Yeah, you're allied with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the way this story is going to happen is definitely because like there's them in different outfits. Like it's not them when they're older, but it's like them not in like their school outfits. They're getting like Fire Emblem Warriors outfits. It's gonna make it so that like Dimitri and Edelgard and Claude are like now all closer together. So like the shit that happens in that game would never happen.
Well, they were close at the start too.
They were like close in the way that they knew each other because they were all like royalty who were next in line for their like respective kingdoms.
That's what makes the game sad is they were friends, but then they had to fight each other.
Yeah, but then it's like they had to fight over the dumbest shit.
Yeah, it's really dumb actually. If you play the other routes, it's like, and this isn't to insult Edelgard choosers or whatever. If you play the other routes, so I watched a blue playthrough. And one of the and some of a red one. And one of the things I found out is like it's because Edelgard was so gaslit because the people she sides with are the people who did the torture. Like the church actually wasn't involved with the thing that happened to her.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yep,
I didn't get that far. I like gave up at that point. I was like, I don't like this game.
No. So the people that she sides with that make her do the fashy shit, they were the people that harmed her.
Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then Dimitri is just like he go like you leave for those 2 years or whatever, or like 7 years. I feel like it's a long time.
He gets like an eye patch.
He gets an eye patch and he kind of doesn't he go a little insane or something.
Yeah, he becomes like a very revenge focused person because she killed somebody close to him.
It's like, but when you also find out in the when you're still the professor, he like takes when she like it reveals who she is. He like starts laughing maniacally and tries to kill her. Like obviously she's at that point being the villain. Like she.
That's why I picked fucking Claude, man. He's just
there. That's the unfortunate part. Is Claude is just there.
Claude's like maybe like being noble or being a peasant like don't make you bad, and maybe like it's a fucking inherently bad system. Like,
anyways, give me some of that puss.
Anyways, like I'm gonna get fucking laid.
I'm gonna go
also,
fuck
like,
Hilda.
We should have equal rights. And I'm like, oh, Claude, you're the most reasonable person here.
Yeah.
Like one guy's like, I will be a fair king and I will rule over these peasants with love and care. And it's like,
and Claude's like, why do you have to call them
peasants?
What's
the difference between you and me? We're just like born to different dads.
So anyway, Fire Emblem Warriors is not a good franchise, and
that's fair. I do hope this one turns out good because I want all games to be good.
Yeah, for sure. But like, and also,
I'd rather just see
a good way to enter the Warriors franchise if you enjoy those. Like the spin-offs are the better ways.
I'd love to see it.
You like those.
Honestly, I would have rather this announcement have been like either a Three Houses 2 or a new Fire Emblem game in the same vein as Three Houses, because Three Houses is the Fire Emblem game I have managed to find myself enjoying the most.
2 years old though now, right?
Yeah, so it would probably be another year or two before the next Fire Emblem, but still. I really liked Three Houses. It's the Fire Emblem game I liked the most. I liked Awakening, but I fell off of it before I finished it. But
Awakening is the only Fire Emblem game I like, so it's just not for me. Yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Advance Wars 1+2.
1 and 2. That's Fire Emblem, baby.
Yeah. I don't like.
I'm excited for this game.
I'm indifferent. I think it's cool. I like Way Forward.
Yeah, Way Forward's doing this remaster of Advanced Wars. In case you don't know,
systems. Or
if you don't know what Advanced Wars is, it's effectively like it is very similar to Fire Emblem. It's by the same developers. It's actually based on like the Famicom Wars franchise, but the first ones that came to America were the Game Boy Advance games, which are called Advance Wars.
And then, but like you got that Way Forward spin on it and shit, where it's like everything's cartoonish and bouncy.
Yeah, it's a little bit more bouncy, a little bit more cartoony. Still has the plot, still has the really good tactical elements and stuff. Yeah. If you like Fire Emblem, but you're like, oh, I'd like something that's like a different take that's less anime.
I'd like Fire Emblem with, but like a tank. I think a tank would be fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, then why don't you just play Valkyria Chronicles, bitch?
Okay, well, I didn't know there was more than one option, so I didn't need that attitude, sir. Then we got No Man's Sky on Switch.
Yep. This is fine.
Cool, like I guess. And then we got the first big announcement.
Big Mario Strikers.
Mario Strikers is back, and
that's cool.
I am miserable.
Really?
Did
you not like Mario Strikers?
No, because you showed up when we stopped going to the dam, the local youth drop-in.
Yeah.
But there was a GameCube there, and we would play Strikers like every fucking day.
So I knew that because I heard that from Chris and stuff, but I figured that would make you very excited for
No,
Mario
I was
Strikers.
the one who hated the game.
Oh,
but I also
you
hated
were.
the game.
Of course he was.
No, okay, 1 second. I hated it because, one, I got my ass kicked every time.
Yeah.
Two, I think me and Blake were playing Strikers last night, actually.
Yeah.
Because he has it on GameCube.
Yeah.
So we were playing last night. That game is just like... It's very RNG based. Like obviously you can do your super strike at any time in the GameCube one. This one it looks better. It looks like it's more of a smash orb thing.
Yeah.
Because you get 2 goals. Like you can stop someone from doing it, but it can be difficult to stop someone depending on the setup.
Mario Strikers I only played a few times, but I remember it being like very cool. They wanted to do one that was like I think basketball themed next was the original plan.
Yeah. And then they made another Strikers for the Wii that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they added in a bunch of motion control shit.
Yeah. But I like the idea of this like edgy mid-2000s art style Mario characters. I think that's fun.
But then also while we were playing, it's like you can do you can when you do a pass, there's a system where you can get a perfect pass, but it doesn't really tell you how to do it. It doesn't really help. It doesn't like inform you when you can do it. It tells you in the tutorial, it's like when you and the other guy are near the front of the net. But then you do that and it's it doesn't matter. There's no angles, there's no really way to tell whether or not your goalie is going to block the ball or not. You have no control over the goalie at all.
Yeah.
It's just very RNG, where if this game comes out and it's entirely skill-based, sure.
It'll probably it probably won't be entirely, but it'll probably be a little bit more skill-based.
Yeah.
Just like comparing to like the Mario Tennis and Mario Golf games, how they've changed over the years.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Front Mission 1 Remake. Let's go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wasn't Splatoon 3 next?
Oh, you're right. Splatoon 3.
Yeah, Splatoon 3 is announcing...
It's still coming out. It didn't stop being made.
That's the whole point of this Direct, is to sell you... So this tells you about a whole new game type. Not a new game type. A returning game type from Splatoon 2 with new mechanics. But here's the mechanic I hope is in it most. The fact that it is available all week. Because the problem with Salmon Run was that it was only available on like a Tuesday at like 3 p.m. till like 4 p.m. You can only play it at like a set specific time for no fucking reason. You didn't earn anything from doing it. It's not like you got like a special currency. It was just like, it was a horde mode they only let you do sometimes. So hopefully this one is they just let you do it.
Anyway, Front Mission 1 Remake, let's go!
I just said WANs or whatever. I forgot the name of it.
It's Front Mission, and they're doing a second one. Front Mission slaps.
Yeah.
It's a tactical RPG with mechs by Square Enix.
So it's like if you were like, what I want from Fire Emblem instead of
soldiers,
I want tanks, but I want the tanks to have legs.
It's like if you were playing Fire Emblem and you were like, I wish... It's not that I don't want this to be anime, but I wish this was a different kind of anime.
Yeah.
I wish this was like, I don't know.
Gundam.
I wish this was like, something that had the tone of like, maybe like Metal Gear Solid? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, cool. Front Mission 1, cool.
Yeah. And then we got Kingdom Carts.
We got... Fuck you. There's no Square Enix characters.
Kingdom Carts.
I put Disney Cars.
It's actually Pixar's Cars.
Anyway, be excited to play as Cussy.
Yeah, and then we got Force Unleashed on Switch.
It's the Wii version.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's the worst.
It's the worst version of the fucking
and it's not even
game.
like they're putting the second one in either.
Yeah, weird. I was like, okay, that's kind of hype. And then it was like, nope, it's the Wii version. SD Gundam game.
Also, Assassin's Creed 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
Collection on Switch.
Yeah. Ezio Collection.
I write this shit in order.
I didn't write that down, but I had the SD Gundam.
Yeah, SD Gundam, I was not familiar with this at all. Like this, apparently these are games that have already existed.
Yeah, this is just,
I was watching with Anthony, and I was just like, why are they all chibi? And he's like, that's what SD is.
Super deformed.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Because they for a while they did a spin-off Naruto series called Naruto SD.
Super deformed, yeah.
And it was in a chibi art style. I didn't know that's why it was called that. That's fucked up.
Next up, Chrono Cross Remastering. Let's go!
I was not familiar. I'm not familiar. Like, obviously,
Chrono Cross is the sequel to Chrono Trigger, but
Michael was excited for this.
Yeah, so Chrono Trigger. If you're not aware, one of the best games ever made. Really good JRPG. You know, the Dragon Quest guy, Final Fantasy guy, and Akira Toriyama came together and said,
"Oh, was Akira Toriyama still?"
It was for Chrono Trigger.
Oh, for Chrono Trigger.
Came together and were like, what if we just fucking made the best JRPG ever made?
And then never make anything else.
Yeah, and then Chrono Cross came out. I don't think it had all the same people, but it was a PS1 game, and it's like not a good sequel. It's Chrono Trigger's about time travel, Chrono Cross is about universe travel. They take place in the same like multiverse, but they're not very connected.
Yeah.
So like it's like some people love it, some people hate it. Chrono Trigger, everyone loves it. Some people love Chrono Cross, some people hate Chrono Cross.
Okay.
But I think overall cool to have access to it again.
Yeah. And now,
Mouthful
time for the star
mode.
of the show.
Kirby.
Kirby.
I love that they called it Mouthful mode.
I also, you know what's dumb though? It looks like Kirby had to do the Mouthful mode because he couldn't physically swallow the car. Kirby has eaten a planet.
No, he could swallow the car. When he sucked it in, it went all the way in his entire body.
But then it came back out.
Just the wheels, so that he could drive it. Because if the wheels were in Kirby, they would rub up against the inside of his tummy.
I guess.
Physics.
And he can also dispense bevs to his thirsty foes.
He can turn into a cone.
He can do Majima anywhere.
That's the first thing I thought, dude. He can turn into a giant graphic cone. He can turn into a vending machine. He can turn into other things from the Yakuza series.
He can turn into water, also from the Yakuza franchise.
He can drink water and become fat. He can be Kirby inflation.
But I think they considered that part of Mouthful mode, though.
Yeah, but it's inflation.
So he
can also turn into a glider and turn into a ring.
Yeah, arc mode. Turn into a light.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It looks fun. The game looks great.
Yeah, it does really look like Kirby Odyssey, though.
I was gonna say, well, when this game was first announced, we said Kirby Automata
because it's in a destroyed city. Yeah, but in turn, it's like when I talked to Anthony about it all that time ago, I was like, oh yeah, this looks like it could be like the Mario Odyssey of Kirby games. Where it's like
because this is the first 3D platformer Kirby game, right? Second.
I think there was it was either Kirby 64.
No, because that's a side scroller.
Or Kirby and the Crystal Shards. I'll Google it.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it to come out.
Next up, Sony is putting
Kirby and the Crystal Shards. I already got one for it. It was a 2.5D game where it was still a side scroller like Kirby running platformer game, but the camera would come at you at this angle instead of if this is the direction Kirby.
Explain it to the camera.
This is the direction Kirby is running at you.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it like this. It's running to the side like that. Normally, the camera is coming straight at Kirby. I'll do it like this.
Yes.
And then in Crystal Shards, the camera was like that.
So it was like a little. So it's 2.5D.
You could see forward and not behind you very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's still this is the first one that's not a real.
Oh wait, Kirby 64 is Kirby the Crystal Shards. That was the same game.
That's what I thought it was. But next up after that, MLB The Show.
Boo.
So no. MLB The Show is the good sports game franchise.
Boo. It's still a sport game.
Yeah, but what's funny about this is MLB The Show is made by Sony.
So they're just being friends.
Yeah.
Being polite.
So next up we got Kingdom Hearts The Bad Version is out now.
Oh, I wrote Kingdom Carts No Cars Edition.
Cars is in Kingdom Hearts.
I should have wrote No Carts.
There are carts in Kingdom Hearts. In Birth by Sleep, you can do racing.
Is it the bad edition because it's
the cloud version?
It's cloud version, yeah.
It runs like absolute dog shit.
I feel like they really could have actually just made it a download.
They just didn't, dude. They just did not give the developers of this port the budget to do a Switch version. Because straight up, okay, let's say Kingdom Hearts 3, and even let's say the 0.2 part of 2.8.
Yeah.
Because those are PS4 games. let's say that the Switch couldn't run those without it being cloud, right? Which, because like Hitman's cloud or whatever, right? So Kingdom Hearts 3, let's say that's a cloud game.
Dying Light
1.
1 is cloud, yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say the Switch just can't run Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 HD are PS2 games and a PSP game and a 3DS game.
So maybe not even the HD. Like without the HD would just because it can fit the resolution. But
like, well, they are like remakes, but they're PS3 remakes.
The Nintendo Switch is definitely as strong as a PS3. Mm-hmm. So it should definitely be able to, like, you
1.5 and 2.5, 100% Switch could run it if they wanted to. If they gave the port enough of a budget to actually make the game run. It's because they just gave bare minimum, and they're like, okay, we'll just make cloud versions because that costs nothing to make. Right? All we have to do is make assets for the Switch buttons instead of
in comparison, costs nothing to make.
Yeah, well, you just have to make assets for the Switch buttons.
Yeah.
That's like basically it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because then it's like, well, we don't have to get it running on the console. We just keep it on a server.
The thing that genuinely annoys me in most games now is when I can't, like modern games. Yeah. When I can't change the buttons when I'm playing on PC.
I hate that.
Yeah, like because
do you know what? Do you know what I love?
About Monster Hunter Rise?
Yeah.
You can change the button. Like you go into the menu and it says like button options or whatever, and you can scroll through and it has PS4, PS5, Xbox. Xbox has never changed how they look, so it doesn't matter. And Nintendo Switch.
That's awesome.
So it will tell you like where the button, like if it's like it wants you to press the B button, obviously that's not the same on Xbox and Switch. Yeah. Because B is at the bottom and it's on the right for the Switch and on the right for the Xbox. Yeah. So it's good that even though the game is not available as a PlayStation title, they still said, well, the game's on PC now. People are going to play it with a PC controller.
I love that.
Xbox I also love it. The only controller.
I also love it when they auto detect as well.
Yeah, for other games, it is kind of harder for that one though. Yeah, because there is
Outer Wilds does it.
There's no official PlayStation drivers for PC games.
I thought that used to be true, but it's not true anymore.
It's still true. They never put out DualShock 4 drivers. Mm. When you what Steam did, Steam is the only good guys here. Well, Epic also DualShock for Windows, and which is now also DualShock 5, DualSense for Windows. They put out DualShock for Windows is a small program you can get that convinces that detects when a PlayStation controller is plugged in
and puts it out as a Xbox
an Xbox 360 controller. So if you wanted to play on Dolphin with a fucking PS5 controller, you need DualShock for Windows. But anything you play through Steam will recognize it as a Steam control, or they use the Steam controller drivers. Yeah. And then so since Steam controllers don't exist anymore, as soon as the Outer Wilds, did you get that on Steam?
No, I have it on Epic. That's why
I have no idea how it works on Epic. Then maybe they did the same thing. Yeah. They recognize it as a Steam controller and just put PlayStation buttons over it. Mm-hmm. I assume.
I think that I don't know all this computer words, but I think it's become more okay because I don't have DS4 for Windows. Yeah. But with Dolphin. It'll recognize it'll recognize at least like that a controller is plugged in and I can put my preset on it.
When you look up DualSense, the PS5 controller's like official title, and you look up drivers, you get a PC Gamer article that tells you how to use it. You get a Reddit link asking when we will ever get these fucking drivers, which was posted in June 28th, 2021, and then a website called Driver Easy, which I assume is about drivers for fucking shit. How to use a PS5 controller on PC. So Epic Game Store and Steam, good guys for allowing us to not have to use fucking Xbox controllers. Yeah.
So next up, we got Klonoa 1 and 2, baby.
I finally looked up. It was a PlayStation title.
Klonoa 1 is a PS1 game. Klonoa 2 is a PS2 game.
Yes.
But these are remakes, and I don't know if
this is a remake. Remasters, but they look like remakes.
So I think what happened is I think that the Klonoa 1 is a remake of the Wii remake or a remaster of the Wii remake of Klonoa 1. Klonoa 2 is either a remaster or a remake of the PS2
well,
version.
It looked very crisp and it looked very
great.
clear.
It looks really
honestly,
nice.
you could pass that off as a new game just with a stylized early 2000s art style.
Yeah. Klonoa is great, so I'm really hyped to see this. It's like a side scroller, but 2.5D, like big 3D environments and stuff. Classic. They're really good games, and he has Pac-Man on his hat because it's a Namco game.
Yeah. Portal 1 and 2.
Portal 1 and 2. Hey, should have probably been there. I don't know, 5 years ago. But
if you've never played Portal 1 and 2. Probably go play it somewhere else.
I mean, this will probably be fine because the game's from like 2005.
No, I'm not saying because it won't run well. It's not from 2005.
The first one is.
Well, it was on the orange box. I think it was 2006 that it came out.
No, the same day.
And then Portal 2, I think, came out like 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's probably better to play it in other places.
Yeah, it depends. But this is now you'll have a fucking Portal 2 on the toilet. Or on the bus. Or on the train.
You can hear fucking Stephen Merchant talk to you. Then now we got obscure Japanese...
Live, baby!
We got obscure Japanese title that a bunch of dudes popped off about. And
including me.
I've never heard of this, and no one I know, I'm going to keep saying, has ever played it.
Okay. Let me pitch this game to you.
I'm going to hate it.
You're not going to hate it.
No, it's Japanese. I don't like it.
You don't like Japanese things since when?
I hate it. That's why my favorite American show is One Piece.
Okay.
If you watch it in English dub, you can lie to yourself.
So
like that.
Live Alive was like one of the games that started the fan translation movement because this is the first time it's coming to North America. This is a HD 2D remake, like Octopath Traveler style, but of a game that exists already.
I thought it was actually going to be like Octopath or Triangle Strategy.
It's not a brand new game. This is a remake of an old game. But... So Live Alive is like a classic 2D, turn-based... Is it turn-based or action? I don't know. But the plot is that essentially like there are 4 distinct time periods that you go to. It's like a cool like time travel like plot that's very like... It's like this is the type of game that like led to... Or is from that era of Square Enix that was like, we're just fucking putting out bangers. Like... Yeah. Oh, we put out Secret of Mana, fucking Chrono Trigger, fucking FF6, FF7, fucking Parasite Eve, like all these just like banger. And this is one of the ones that like is oft forgotten, but like is a cult classic.
Well, it's oft forgotten because it
never
most
came out
people never played it.
Yeah, but Live Alive slaps.
I'm sure for like the Japanese side of this thing, they were fucking like dudes screaming about it.
People were screaming about it on our side because they're like, this game never came to North America, now it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I just saw a really funny like meme about it where it was like every single time a Nintendo Direct comes out, some like game you've never ever heard of gets announced, but every like there will be like a couple games journalists being like, my favorite game.
Yeah. That was this,
which I'm sure I'll see that same meme from younger people when Mother 3 inevitably gets called Earthbound Future or something.
It'll never come out, dude.
Well, but they reinvigorated the hope.
Yeah, true. Wii Sports 3, let's go.
Switch Sports.
Nintendo Switch Sports. It's Wii Sports 3.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing that it doesn't have every single game.
It has 2 returning ones it has 1 returning one from the original Wii Sports, it has 1 returning one from Resort, and then a bunch of original ones. I think it has
2 from...
2 from each?
Oh, you know what? No, it has bowling.
Yeah.
It has that sword one. It has bowling from original.
Yeah.
It has the sword one from Sports Resort.
And then they're adding golf later.
They are adding golf, which will be the other returning... Which at least
I think golf was in both, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't play much of Wii Sports Resort because it wasn't as good as Wii Sports. I have it.
I think Wii Sports Resort. I think Wii Sports Resort is as good, but it didn't strike when the iron was hot.
Well, it's just everyone had Wii Sports because it shipped with your Wii.
Yeah.
Where Wii Sports Resort was an optional thing, and it was their way of pushing a new piece of hardware.
The Wii Motion Plus. But you needed the Motion Plus if you wanted to play Skyward Sword.
Yeah, but which also shipped with its own Wii Motion Plus. Oh, yeah, no, it shipped with a Wiimote that had it inside, and then the Wiimotes I have.
Yeah. The Wii U Wiimotes are essentially Wiimotes with
which is what Plus I have. Built in. Because I played more... even though I had a Wii... I played more Wii games on my Wii U.
Yeah.
Like Skyward Sword.
Yeah, well,
which apparently I am incredibly lucky to have.
Yeah.
Because when Chris went to go try and buy it, like a few months after me, gone everywhere.
The Wii version?
Yeah, you could not get Skyward Sword back in the
back in the day. Yeah, when that game first came out.
No, not when it first came out. When it first came out, of course, you could get it on the shelves and everything. But then by the time the Wii U came out, I was playing it. Chris also got a Wii U for Smash Brothers and all that.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Well, I'll go back and play Skyward Sword because everyone talks shit about it, but they only talk shit about the motion controls. There's still a whole game behind that."
Mm-hmm.
But so I got it, and then he just could never find his own copy.
That sucks.
Or he got dicked over on eBay about it too.
And then Skyward Sword HD came out, and then he probably has it or doesn't care anymore.
I don't think he cares anymore.
I got it for my birthday, and I played 10 minutes of it. I didn't even get the sword.
It's it's not a slow
Not that it was bad.
start.
It's just okay. So something interesting. So I was playing it on the regular controller, right? I wasn't playing with motion controls. Did you know that because the right stick is sword, the right stick does not control your camera, and you have to hold a button and then move the left stick to move your camera?
Wow, that sucks.
That makes me that just made me not want to play more. I was like, I need to be in the mood for this.
I would
have not touched it since my birthday.
If I ever play Skyward Sword again, I'm
just
definitely
play it on Dolphin.
No, I'm going to play it on motion controls.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't play it on. I have it. I still have my Wii U and all that.
Yeah.
I would
You might want to play the HD one just because it's an HD
The Wii U version has always looked like the HD one to me. They look the same because the Wii U had upscaling. And
but they fixed I think they fixed the or no, you have to have the Amiibo to get the fucking
the fast travel. It wasn't that bad.
I heard it was really annoying.
Yeah, but that's that's just also all the people who were haters.
That's fair. There's a new Taiko no Tatsujin.
Yeah, I thought this was a port. I was wrong. This is a whole new game.
Yeah, I would still rather play the one that's an RPG personally.
I think I was where the whole time I was watching, I'm like, where's Jump Up Superstar?
Yeah,
where are they going to show that? Because it's the Nintendo version.
But they showed some other anime shit.
Yeah. Well, they showed one song that I didn't recognize, but then they also said there's a subscription service where you can get 500 songs right off the bat.
That's cool.
It kind of sucks that you're gonna have to buy a full price game and then pay for DLC.
Well,
but I'm sure that DLC is already there because this game has existed in Japan for 2 years now. I
think ultimately it's it depends on how big the roster of content is on the base version.
Yeah,
because 500 new songs, it depends on the cost of the subscription. But I think that's, especially because if it's a subscription, that means they're probably going to add new, but there's 500 to the start. That seems like a reasonable amount of content to be bonus.
Yeah.
Especially because, with music, the problem of licensing is there that makes music extremely expensive to do in video games.
And then also, if you did it as a one-time purchase thing, and then they had to remove it from you, then it's
you would, be pissed, so...
Which I think they had to...
they had to do shit with that with, Rock Band.
Yeah.
So it was but if you bought it, you had it, but then you couldn't... would transfer it to new console, let's say, because a lot of the Rock Band DLC carried over to 4, so if you had Rock Band shit on your PS3, you could carry it over to PS4, but some DLC stopped being carried, so you would have wasted your money.
Well, you technically could go back and play it on your PS4
or your PS3.
Actually, you can put PS3 discs in the PS4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and even if you could, what I'm saying is the DLC didn't migrate if it was the stuff that got removed.
Yeah.
Right, even if you paid for it, but the stuff that stayed, you could migrate. But anyway, Taiko no Tatsujin, all those games are really fun. I haven't.
The multiplayer part of this looks pretty fun as well.
They're all great. If you're a big Taiko no Tatsujin guy, which always in my head I just think Taiko Drum Master because that's what it was called back on the GameCube. I don't know why they started using the Japanese title.
Probably because they were just got to the point where they were or maybe Taiko Drum Master didn't do well.
Yeah.
But then it's when they sold it on PlayStation or something.
They just used Taiko no Tatsujin and
then it worked and they were I guess.
I don't know.
It's if for some reason Yakuza Like a Dragon came out, but everyone kept calling it Ryugo Gotoku.
Yeah. That's Ryugo.
What are you talking about, Yakuza? You mean Ryugo Gotoku?
I think Yakuza actually is one of the few where I think even though it's a completely different name for the English version, I think it was fine.
I think the English version is a better name because Like a Dragon has you kind of need to understand why it's called that.
Yeah, I think I think calling Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon is smart. They should have put the
because
7
it's
in
a
there
sequel to the original.
Well, it's a remake. It's almost a remake. It's like a retelling almost.
Oh, it hits the same beats.
Yeah. So it's like a retelling, but also Like a Dragon. The reason why the title works is because it's like Dragon Quest.
And then also your friend, he's voiced by Ichiban is voiced by Nitsuki.
Yeah,
Nitsuki.
There's a lot of elements of Yakuza 7 that I think make it great.
Not the gameplay.
Yep.
Not the gameplay for the first 20 hours, then in the last 20.
Yeah. But I still like a game. Yeah.
I cannot wait.
I want to give that game a little.
Once Yakuza 8 comes out, I'm just gone from the world again.
Yeah. Peace.
Yeah.
But yeah. Next up, we got a better look at Triangle Strategy. Man, playing the original demo for this game made me not want it. Next up was the Cuphead DLC, which we already saw back in Thing. Metroid Dread added asshole mode and baby mode. Now, excuse me. I'll probably never play the asshole mode or the baby mode, but I think nobody really wants either of them. Yes. But the boss rush mode looks fine.
The boss rush mode will be cool. Hopefully it is locked until people beat the game, though.
Yeah.
Because it would be unfortunate to just spoil some of the bosses.
But I also think that probably most people wouldn't touch it before they play the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't think it needs to necessarily be locked. If people, you just trust people have common sense, but
yeah,
maybe they don't. Who knows? Next up, we got Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming to Switch, baby. Let's go! So I've actually been playing a lot of Earthbound since then.
Are you on eBay now looking for a fucking Game Boy Advance so you can play Mother 3 when you're done with them?
No, first, but what I was going to say, so Ian's pointing that out because I took out my...
that was the moment when we realized we lost 10 minutes of recording.
Because I have a Mother 3 reproduction cart that has the English translation. I do want them to bring Mother 3 to the West. I don't think they will. And I especially don't think so because people will complain about the differences between it and the fan translation from 10 plus years ago.
Was the fan translation one team that worked on it?
Yeah, it was a big team.
One big team?
Yeah.
I would just go, if I was Mr. Nintendo and I really wanted to put it, I wouldn't hire them because it's already done. The translation's already been done. I would just...
hire them to contractually make a new translation and then just release the same translation.
Yeah. Or you just go hit them up and you're but in reality, you hire them to make it look like you're not just buying a fan translation so you don't start a precedent. And then you go to them and say, we will pay you and, I don't know, a set amount of money that I'm sure Nintendo will lowball the fuck out of.
Yeah. I'm sure they probably would do it for a low amount of money. Because the work's already fucking done.
The work's been done. It was a passion project for them.
Yeah.
And they're just I guess.
Yeah, the lead on it, Clyde Mandelin, he's otherwise known as Mato or Tomato. He's a professional translator now. He's worked on some animes and stuff like that and other games.
Also being underpaid.
Yeah.
Now he's being underpaid by Crunchyroll.
Yeah. No, I don't think he worked for Crunchyroll, but he did work for other ones. Yeah, so I'm on his Twitter right now. Professional translator, Mother 3 fans translator, Earthbound Central Starman. But yeah, he does Legends of Localization now, which is a thing talking about localizing how games get localized and what choices get made.
Yeah.
I actually so see this shelf that I took the Game Boy cartridge off of?
Yeah.
This is my Mother shrine. So I have the official strategy guide for both, or not official, unofficial strategy guide for the Mother 3 fan translation and for Earthbound. And I also have the Legends of Localization book for Earthbound that goes over all of the changes made in the localization.
That's nice.
It's really neat. That's the big purple book.
All right. So then after that, we got the sizzle reel of 5 games.
Yeah.
Zombie Army 4, Getsu Fumaden.
Oh, yeah.
Demon Slayer, which I noticed something funny about it.
Mm-hmm.
everyone was in their normal outfits, except for Nezuko, who they put in her schoolgirl outfit. And I have a theory. Mm-hmm. Her outfit, when she is in her demon form, was too horny for Nintendo.
But Nintendo has fucking Galgun.
I'm aware. But you don't... And Galgun is still just girls in their uniforms just being like, yeah, in the fucking like trailers. But Nezuko is like almost pussy out in her like demon form. Oh. Because her kimono like opens up, her tits are almost out, and her like you see all of her leg. Mm. And it's like, why else would they do that for just her? And they didn't show up. Then like all of her stuff like cuts away from her pretty quickly. And then something called Lego Brawls. I don't remember what that is.
Looks stupid.
And then there was like 1 Point Hospital or something.
2 Point Hospital.
2 Point Hospital. Yeah, and it was whatever. You could whenever you see these like sizzle reels, you're like, oh, we're winding down.
I didn't write any of those down because I was like, these are all things I think we already knew about.
They are things that are like already out on other consoles, and they're just quite literally saying are already available on the Switch.
Yeah, they're either already available or they're coming out like in 2 days.
Yeah, and then we got
Mario Kart DLC.
I think it's really cool.
I
was hoping for a Mario Kart 9.
I was hoping for Mario Kart 9 as well.
But I think they recognized that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, what we got on the Switch, is a remaster.
Yeah.
Which has an incredibly like huge player base.
Has a giant player base.
Yeah.
So almost every Switch owner owns Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I believe I was seeing it quoted everywhere why people.
It's one of the highest selling games on Switch.
Yeah, it's either the highest or one of the highest. Yeah. It's in the top 5.
Easily top 5.
But then I was like, oh well, a DLC that should be fine. That's fine.
And it's a massive DLC.
48.
It's all tracks that we've already seen. Now there are some complaints coming around.
There is, because it's like, oh, you're just putting out content we already know.
No, so it's not just that. So the art style for these remastered tracks are, a lot of them are from are going with the art style of the mobile Mario Kart Tour. And the arcade game. So they're actually not based on. They're potentially work that was already done to put these into the mobile game. So it's less textured maps. Less textured and more cartoony compared to like the more realistic textures from Mario Kart 8.
That could just be these, because Mario Kart 8 doesn't really have.
It does.
I wouldn't say it has realistic textures. I would say it has texture.
It has very high detail texture.
Yeah. That would be unfortunate.
So it does clash with the art style somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see with these first ones. If it's badly reviewed, maybe Nintendo will do something about it. Arguably not.
My opinion is that ugly tracks that don't necessarily match the art style of the characters, there's still 40 of them for $25. Yeah. And this is still more content. This is like an entire game worth of fucking content.
This is something they could have, instead of doing this, they could have decided to put those tracks into a Mario Kart 9 and make like 16 new tracks. Or they could have taken, because what they did for 8, when 8 initially launched on the Wii U, there is 4 cups. Or no, there's 5 cups.
And there's 4 of each kind.
Okay, 1 second. There's 5 cups with all new maps, so like 20 maps. And then there was 5 with only old maps.
I think it was 4 and 4, and then 2 and 2.
Okay, yeah, it's probably 4 and 4. That makes more sense. And then the DLC added 2 new cups with 2 new maps, 2 old maps, and on both sides. Yeah. And then they did that again for the other DLC. I kind of hope they do an additional announcement that this adds like maybe characters, maybe new customization items.
Kirby,
like Kirby in the game would be great.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah, and then I always see people going like, why do you want all the Nintendo characters into this one game and make it like Super Smash Brothers esque? And it's like, because why not? Fun. It would be fun. I think more characters from other franchises. And less
the amount of Mario shit.
Small dudes.
I think the problem is there aren't as many iconic Mario locations that you can turn into racetracks as you'd think, because a lot of the Mario ones aren't Mario things. Toad's Turnpike, What the fuck is that?
It was New Donk City 10 years, 15 years before.
New Donk City should be a map for sure, right?
Yeah, it would be great.
That'd be cool.
There would be a bunch, or like Odyssey definitely has like a bunch of cool locations.
Every location in Odyssey could be a fucking racetrack.
A lot of locations in Odyssey are locations we have already seen in other games.
Yeah.
Like, you could say...
The forest area. The forest area in Odyssey is brand new.
I guess that's pretty new. But like the beach...
There's beaches. There's beaches.
There's 2 beach maps in fucking Mario Kart 8, and you could say that either of those is the same beach.
Yeah.
We don't have Peach Beach. That map's probably coming back from GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's games coming from the arcade game, which is cool. Because I think the Mario Kart arcade game does get a little bit slept on. But partially because it's not developed by Nintendo.
Also because it's a game that you can only play by going to your local Dave & Buster's.
True. But it's a good game.
Yeah.
The good tracks. Pac-Man's in it. Because it's made by Namco.
Yeah. But anyway, I think like they should add in new characters. And it's like...
I think
you could still call it Mario Kart and add in characters from outside the Mario games. Link's already there. Animal Crossing characters already there.
Splatoon. There should be a Splatoon map because there's Splatoon is in the game.
Splatoon should. Yeah, there should. That would be a really good one.
I think that'd be cool. I would love to see... I mean, Zelda has a million places that you
Zelda has one map, and it's like probably one of the shittier maps in the game.
But it's got the best music.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, Koji Kondo definitely is
You know what? Not the best music, because the fucking F-Zero maps have the best music.
Oh, man, the F-Zero maps are so fucking good.
Thank you!
Because of this announcement, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart this week.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired. Every time we as a friend group play Mario Kart, I'm like a second or third kind of guy. I never come in first. I'm changing that shit.
I want some new maps. I would have loved... Again, I would have loved a new game, especially if they were like, hey, we've got new characters. Just because, like... Fuck.
Like, you know what? This would be nice. Maybe after they like the 2 years this will take to release all these tracks or whatever, we get an announcement.
I think it's just 1 year.
What?
I think it's just 1 year. 2023.
We're at the beginning of this year. If they go to the end of 2023, I would say that's 2 years.
Okay.
It's a year and a half worth of content. And if we get all that.
Yeah.
And then they were like in the Nintendo Direct in February of 2024. Yeah. They go like
Mario Kart 9.
Yeah. For whatever new Switch they're going to be hawking by that point.
Probably be a brand new console.
Yeah, probably.
Switch 2. The Switch has already been out for 5 years.
Yeah. And Nintendo can't have that longevity because they don't make good consoles.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting that you don't have to pay the 25 or 25 US, 32
They're
Canadian.
just trying to find another way to hawk the more expensive version of their online.
Yeah, which is I don't know, it's better than the other bullshit. They're not raising the price of it. It's like $10 extra or something a year.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Or I think it's like
it's like you get N64, Genesis,
Animal Crossing thing. And then now Mario Kart thing. Yeah. So it's like, maybe, I don't know, in the future this could be cool to like build it up as like a Game Pass sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or even like you could fucking, whatever inevitable fucking
if
Mario Party. Maybe they decide to put Mario Party 4 into Super Mario Party All-Stars or whatever.
And they put that DLC in
they put it on the pass. And then it's like you can buy it for $20 or you can use the pass. Like, and honestly, I'd still probably buy it because DLC is something I'd rather keep than have to be like, oh, I can't access it anymore.
I agree, but whatever. This is.
I just think it's neat to try that.
If you were like, man, I really want to play Majora's Mask. Oh, I'll just upgrade my fucking Nintendo sub.
If you're like, I really want to play Majora's Mask on the go, fine.
Play the 3DS version, pussy.
Not for Majora's Mask.
No, I know. The 3DS version has some improvements, but a lot of downgrades in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Only mobile. That's the only reason why to use the Switch Online thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna sit at home and play it, get an emulator.
Well, yeah, because the Switch N64 isn't very good, right? I just remember that. Their SNES emulation's good though.
Yeah, it is. That's where I played Super Metroid.
Yeah. Great. It's great. Earthbound's great on it.
And then and then with the final announcement, they pissed off every single Zelda fan. But Zelda.
Okay, who fucking cares? We've seen glimpses of.
Hey, don't get fucking mad at me. Don't take that.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at them out in the ether. We saw the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I think was the last thing of the last fucking direct.
Perhaps it's been a while.
Like, I think it was here's a new glimpse, and then we showed gameplay of like the fucking
they
flying
showed,
through there and shit.
Yeah, they showed that they've only shown it twice, but that's the thing. I think Nintendo is learning their lesson a little bit here.
Yeah,
every single thing shown in this direct is coming out within the next 6 months.
Yeah,
the year does not end in the next 6 months. Breath of the Wild at the end of that trailer says 2022.
Probably come out in November, which means we're probably going to get a glimpse of it around the summer, and we'll probably get its actual title.
It's also the same reason why we didn't get any Bayonetta 3 news.
Yep.
Why we didn't get any.
That was the one more thing of the last Nintendo Direct.
Exactly, because it was a one more thing saying we have finally.
And it's coming out. And it already has a release date, so they'll probably show one more thing, and then like have a little couple small ads that aren't part of a Direct closer to the release.
Yeah. And then same with Metroid Prime 4. We have not actually seen real...
That game they threw out the entire development.
Yeah,
I think,
so it's a fresh dev
Yeah.
making it. It's they announced that 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So you're right. We should probably expect a trailer for Metroid Prime 4.
And almost certainly the fucking trilogy is coming to
within
Switch.
the next year or two.
Yep.
But you shouldn't get mad when it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
That Nintendo announced...
Don't get mad about not seeing things, right? If you don't like the thing that was shown at the end of this Direct, don't like it, right? That's fine. But don't be like, this should have been this. Because it's like, anything should have been anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of this game. Fuck it. It's not a secret. Xenoblade 3. I'm not a huge fan of Xenoblade.
I don't care either. I think Xenoblade 2 is one of the worst games I've ever tried to play.
Xenoblade 1's good. I don't know. I've never played Xenoblade 2. It's like very MMO-y.
Yeah, that's
the
why
franchise.
I don't like the combat.
Don't love it.
It's very auto-y, but then even when I take control or try and do something, it doesn't really help. It doesn't feel very good. I don't know what I'm doing. I think the game doesn't help me figure it out.
I think the remake of 1 is maybe better at it than 2 is, probably, because the assumption is that you played the first game. Maybe the third one's going to be better, but who knows? But I know it is a franchise. I like JRPGs in general. I know it's a very beloved franchise, and it's considered to be better than most of the other Xeno games by the same director. The Chronicles franchise is pretty well liked. It's not more liked than Xenogears, because Xenogears fucking slaps, but it is a PS1 Square Enix game or Squaresoft game, and like pretty much all of those games are great. But yeah, so hey, Xenoblade 3. If you're a big Xenoblade guy, fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. I know Destiny was saying she wanted to get into Xenoblade Chronicles, and I was like, it's pretty good.
Because there's hot women in it.
Yeah.
And Destiny's a coomer.
Destiny is a coomer. You are correct.
Did you send her the link to the podcast?
Oh shit, I have to.
She asked for it.
For this episode or last week?
No, I think she just asked it for in general.
Oh yeah.
Because she was said she didn't know how to listen to it.
True.
So it'd be funny if she gets to this point and we both get messages saying like, "Hey, fuck you."
True.
Yeah, I don't care much for Xenoblade. This game kind of looks cool, but I would want to see how the controls are.
It's probably going to be in the same vein as the first.
But you can always say something is going to have a similar battle style, but you could still change the controls in a way that it's like, whoa, this is actually really good.
Because the problem with Xenoblade and this, it's because
also,
of Xenoblade.
This is an actual where Xenoblade Chronicles the first one.
Yeah.
Isn't actually a sequel, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has tie-ins to the first one, but it's not a direct sequel.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has characters from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, so Xenoblade 3, one of the things they've said is that it's going to explore both the time in between 1 and 2 and after 2.
Yeah.
And be a lot more there. Yeah, and be a lot more concrete on the timeline, because Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 1 take place in completely different worlds almost. They could be two different games in separate universes.
It does kind of feel like that, because Xenoblade, I understand that they're all games in the cloud and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the world you live in is above the clouds.
Wrong.
What?
That's true about 2, but not 1.
Okay, so 2 is just happening in the sky. And
so in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, the entire point is that there are... So the world of Xenoblade Chronicles is... It's like all ocean. It's a planet that's all ocean. And then there are 2 giant mechs that are permanently stuck in a position where one of them has stabbed the other one. They both died like in this position, stabbing each other.
Yeah.
And then all of life has grown on top of them. So you're literally like, and the gravity is onto their bodies. So you're literally walking on giant bodies. Like you're like, and like where areas are is named after where they are. So it's like, oh, this is the arm. Oh, this is the hand. Oh, and then the bridge across the 2 is the sword stabbing one, which is cool.
This is a good fucking Ichiban reaction image.
That's great. Love that.
I'm gonna save that one.
So yeah, Xenoblade's cool. I was telling her it's kind of MMO-y. If you want to play a game that I think is a better take on a single player MMO combat style game, I will recommend pick up Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. It's fantastic. True.
It's funny.
No, I hate the let people enjoy things thing, because it's like I'm not telling you by saying my opinion on a thing or like talking about what's frustrating about it. I'm not saying you shouldn't like it.
Yeah, no, same. I agree.
Fuck
that's
off.
Normally when I talk shit about like a game that even if I have, like I will talk to the ends of the world about things I do not like about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You played the fuck out of it and you enjoyed it.
I'm still playing it.
Right.
There's a DLC
But if you complain about it and you're like, or even if you didn't like it and you stopped playing it, right? If I was like, man, me with Assassin's Creed Origins, I was like, man, I don't like the way the combat is. I don't like the lack of focus on running, on like climbing and shit and like exploration, right? All these things. And I complain about it and I'm like, fuck Assassin's Creed Origins. It's really annoying. I didn't like it. That doesn't mean... even if you agree with my fucking complaints about it,
I could agree with everything you just said, and then still have over 100.
And you enjoy the game. Like I'm not telling you like you can't like it because it's bad.
Also, like, 1 second, just for context, because we just started going off on a meme we did not show to the camera.
It's fine.
It's a Simpsons meme with Bart being looked down on being looked down upon by Nelson and Milhouse. And Bart says, let people enjoy things. And Milhouse says, no one who had good taste would say that.
And it's so like, yeah.
But the let people enjoy things is more...
Adam Ellis regrets making that comic, too.
The way I think about it is more about how when I say, I like the Fast and the Furious movies, and people start yelling at me about how, like, they're unrealistic or there's not great acting in them. And it's like, but why can't I just enjoy them?
True, but
then it let people enjoy things becomes you cannot criticize something you love or have a minor or hate boner for without people going like, "Wow, I can't believe you're just trying to ruin things for everyone."
I saw a meme that was like, these 2 images have completely what's the word? These 2 images have completely eradicated the ability for people to criticize things, and it's just like, it was evaporated the artistic or media literacy of an entire generation, and it's the image of reasons why the teacher says the fucking curtains are blue. Well, the curtain is just blue, Lamau, and then the other images let people enjoy things with him grabbing the lips.
Oh, is the curtain? That reminds me of the guy who made like the super long Rage comic about creating trans-dimensional like travel, going to the Naruto universe, learning the Edo Tensei Jutsu, coming back, reviving William Shakespeare so that fucking he can bring it to his teachers. Like, can you tell my 10th grade teacher why the door is red? And it's just Shakespeare going like, because the door was red, and then they like put on deal with it glasses, and it's just like, it's a funny comic with how much effort he went to like tell the story. But dear God, you're allowed to look for things that aren't initially present there by the author.
So yes, have you ever heard of the phrase subtext? Did you know that people use it in things?
Yeah, but then subtext does subtext refer to though as like the author wrote it with the intent, or the author wrote it not thinking about it?
Subtext can be both. It depends on how much you subscribe to death of the author, because like. Symbolism can exist even if it's not intended.
Yeah, I believe that's for sure true.
because you can subconsciously put things in your work and not realize it.
Yeah.
But also, like...
I do that all the time.
Exactly.
Well, not in my work. That, like, I'm watching something and I'm, like, definitely reading way too far into it, and I come up with an incredibly different, like, take on it.
Yeah.
Because I've just been like, oh, this is this, and this is that, and this is why this is. And it's just like, no, that's wrong.
I love it when shit expects you to do that, though. It feels so good.
I don't like it because it does feel kind of gatekeepy.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
Depends on what you're referring to and what I'm referring to.
Yeah. I will not elaborate.
Okay. That's fair. You know I love that.
Yeah.
You know I love elaborate on that?
No. oh man, I've seen so many. That guy, I don't know what he's from, but I know his like username is like Maxor.
Yeah.
He does like dubs and shit. Mm-hmm. And he did his on TikTok. He's blowing up right now. I know the video existed before TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's the fight between Senator Armstrong and Raiden.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Yeah.
Where they're having the whole conversation about why everything Senator Armstrong, like everything he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he like starts talking about Twitter, and then the video is in the game it's supposed to show the internet.
Yeah.
But in the video they edit it to be like shitty Twitter takes.
Yeah.
And the guy Raiden like ignores all this, like, that's a pretty good point, Senator, but what's your source on that? And it's just him going, my source is I made it the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's a good joke.
It's a great joke.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Rising's great, actually. Mm-hmm. In the end, I'm real. You are just like me.
Because of that video, though, because I watched it on YouTube to show someone.
Yeah.
I get recommendations for like the song from that game, like meme shit. What?
You got something on your stash?
I always have shit in my stash. Because of that, I get like meme recommendations where it's like this scene, but with the fucking song from Rising or Vengeance on it.
I do find those memes very funny.
I think it's funny. I don't think that song is that good.
I think it's really
like
good.
It's no Devil Trigger or Bury the Light,
but it's
or Doomslayer.
But it walked so that Devil Trigger could run.
You're right, but it's just not that good anymore.
Because remember when they were like, "Oh, the fucking music in DMC5 depends on how your fucking style rank is," right? And that's amazing.
That's from them.
It's from Revengeance. Revengeance did it first, but it's only in that fight.
Yeah.
So like, so that's why people were like, the Revengeance everywhere system was a meme I saw. But yeah, Revengeance is great. Memes are fun.
Talk more about Revengeance than the Xenoblade 3 trailer.
Fuck Xenoblade 3. Anyway, let's talk about the weeks, you dumb shit.
I don't know. Did you only just play Dying Light 2 this week?
Pretty much.
I don't really have a lot more time.
Okay.
So you want to just talk about it next week?
Just ran late. I haven't beaten Dying Light 2 yet, so I don't have too much to say, but yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you'll be closer to beating it next week, or you'll get to a point where you're like, whoa, this game's sick, or this game sucks. I've
gotten to a point in the game, just to thing. I have almost the entire map I think is open now.
Yeah.
And I have both the paraglider and the grappling hook.
Ooh.
And I have a completely full parkour skill tree and a mostly full combat one.
Mm. So there's the teaser for next week.
So yeah, if you really want something, it's Dying Light 2 is actually good, and people talking shit are being lame because they can't enjoy like a really solid 7 out of 10.
Wow, just like let people enjoy things.
Let people enjoy it. No, it's because I think the world should have a space for like games that are 7 out of 10 games but do 7 out of 10 perfectly. It's a 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10 game.
I would argue Assassin's Creed Valhalla falls into that spot.
Right, but also like the original Mirror's Edge, 10 out of 10, 7 out of 7, 7 out of 10 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We should come up with some more of those next week.
Yeah. All right.
Saints Row 3. Great 7 out of 10 game.
4? I'll give you.
You know what? There we go. That's fine.
Okay. Wait. Thanks so much for watching and or listening. If you want to see more of this, youtube.com/N8SComedy, or you can find us on any app that you can listen to podcasts on, like Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music or a poopy butthole or Stitcher. Is that one?
Stitcher is one.
Okay. If you want to find me, I'm at The Media Hole on Twitter. I'm at The Media Hole on TikTok. I'm at twitch.tv/TheMediaHole and www.whenyourballs.get-stuck-to-your-leg.tumblr.com. If you want to find Ian, he's at StrugglesV on everything. He recently came under fire for saying that he saves dick by giving it CPR.